And we're live!
Not a chance. Hey! Not a chance.
Not a chance what? What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't know. What are we talking about?
We're talking about how my fucking hand hurts.
Yeah, Torque sliced himself before we started. He was.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, he was in battle with, I don't know, something, probably an inanimate object, and it didn't go well.
Angry skunk.
Well, hello, everybody.
Here we go.
We're back tonight for episode 7 of Mass Effect Aftermath here on
I got a cut on my hand.
United. Yeah, Torque, as mentioned, has a cut on his hand, so he might die any moment. But we'll see how much we can get out of him before he just keels over, bleeds to death in his chair.
I'll run over with I'll keep moving.
Anyways, in other news, we're short Rhea again tonight. She is still being forcibly withheld from us by her theater captors, and so she won't be joining us tonight again, unfortunately. But it sounds like she'll be back next time, so she will be returning soon. Anybody else have anything they want to shout out before we get started?
How about the fact that I just broke the stream cameras and we have to switch to the other one. So
I was wondering about that. Like, yeah, about the black screens.
Oh, fun.
So
Right.
I guess we can just look at my desktop and we'll be tiny. But
it's cool. No, I like that. I'm looking at it right now. That's good. That's fine.
I have a good background. I feel like
right now it looks like we're creeping in somebody's bedroom. This
is the first time any of us has ever done any of this, and we're only on episode 7, so there's a lot of kinks yet to work out. But one of these days, things will go smoothly, and on that day we'll mark it on the calendar, and it'll be like a holiday.
Shouts out to Zoom for making this fucking difficult.
So I apologize to everybody watching for being so kinky. We're working on that.
Yep. Sometimes it starts to dominate your life too much, and then it starts to kind of affect your relationships and stuff. So we have to figure out how to balance it out with everything else.
Let us know in the chat.
So we're working on it. We're working on it, and one day we'll figure it out, and it'll be very healthy, and it'll be great for everybody. But in the meantime, it might be a little rough and a little weird and a little awkward. So just bear with us.
No.
Anyways, last time, episode 6, the party fought the commanding officer on a sorry commando, wielding a shotgun and some pretty impressive biotic powers, and her retinue of soldiers and guards, and including almost including another Ymir mech construction variant, but you were able to kill the engineer who was going to be controlling it before he was able to really put it to any use. So you prevented that, and you were able to defeat the commander, another Turian officer, and a few other soldiers, and a couple of Aran in a pretty spectacular fashion, in a pretty intense firefight.
I just wanted to give that engineer some post-mortem credit. He managed to, while gushing blood, make it all the way over to the Ymir, get it moving for one round, and then keel over and died.
That's true.
A loyal man to the end.
Much like Pistol Pete from earlier. So.
Or not quite so much like, Pistol Pete with her. I keep getting all of the weird personalities that you've encountered in this camp confused. But anyways, after that, have you discovered, or rather Omega discovered, a way to open or to gain access to this Prothean object, which turned out to be an elevator or a lift that you were all able to squeeze yourselves into, and you descended down below the surface of Omara for about a minute. So you're a good ways below the surface. And when the lift came to a stop, you found yourself in a Prothean style kind of entry chamber, big open room with kind of crumbling bits of rock on the walls and big slab-like columns, all kind of down here, having not really been corroded too much, although kind of along the walls you were able to see roots and things kind of pushing their way through from, plants that have been buried by the glacier. At the far end, amidst a clutter of LMD equipment, cables, terminals, survey tools, you saw a massive stone door with an edifice of a Prothean face looming over you, kind of neutral but still very imposing. Some investigation illuminated that you may need to find somebody who has a bit more firsthand knowledge of Prothean technology, Prothean architecture, to investigate what's beyond and what the LMD would have found had you not intervened here. And you sort of came to the general consensus that the person who might be able to point you in the right direction is none other than Wayland Gree himself, the Batarian who sort of the representative of the Smugglers Guild in Port Folkestone on this planet here, Omara. Conveniently, he's also the man that you have to go and speak to now that you have completed the terms of your contract after acquiring the officer's key, not the last session, but the session before. I think even the session maybe before that. It's been a few sessions since you acquired it. But also now, having cleared the camp and obtained a pretty sizable amount of information about what the LMD have been investigating here and what their intentions were and their plans for further expanding this dig site. So with all that said and done, we resume with the group standing in front of this Prothean door in this dimly lit, well, barely lit cavern, I suppose. It's more of, I guess, a chamber as it's constructed, not an actual formation.
Well, I thought we talked about last time about going back to the guy that hired us, and that was going to be our choice. Let's go ahead and start heading back.
Right. So yeah, you get climb in the lift and make your way back up to the surface. It's a minute back up top. You return to the cavern, the carved out ice cave where you fought this most recent battle, and the remains of it still lie all around you. Your burning mech, having finally just short-circuited and been rendered useless by all the damage it had taken, though it had done right by you in a very profound sort of way. It had done a lot of damage and had served you well.
That'll do, Donkey. That'll do.
There's the bodies of the Varen. There's a few of the LMD troopers, the officer, the commander, all strewn about, and you guys make your way out of the cave, having already investigated the side rooms and freed all of the workers here. You make your way out and into the cold night air of Omara. The camp, largely silent. You think, let me check your passive senses here. I think everybody but Alpha would hear kind of the rumbling of an engine, or if it'd be more of a hum. I keep forgetting that all these vehicles are electric. So it'd be kind of a humming sound coming from somewhere in the distance. It sounds like maybe it could be a few different vehicles, hence the volume.
Does the sound like it is approaching or leaving?
Make a perception check for that.
Ooh, starting off strong. Ooh, wow, this is an interesting change of pace. 11.
Hard to tell. You can tell that it's fairly close. It's probably within the perimeter of the camp, but hard to tell if it's moving at all.
Well, Gowan's going to go, keeping an eye out, he's going to make his way over to the Mako.
Okay, kind of moving through the camp because you guys parked the Mako at the far end of the frozen lake that this camp sits on. So it's a ways away from where you guys are.
Unless anyone has any other ideas. That's how we got here, so.
Anybody else have anything else they want to do in the camp before you guys leave?
I'll make sure that all the laborers that were released got into a vehicle so they can get out of there. So we had those 2 transports that were outside, correct?
Torque, did you say something?
Sorry, actually, I've been fucking around in OBS trying to get this shit to work, and I'm a little lost, to be honest.
Well, this is why Krogan shouldn't be doing engineering things.
Somebody else make the decision.
That's all right. So, Alpha, you kind of start making your way through the camp, and you find the workers all gathered around the LMD vehicles
Is the Krogan
that were parked in the middle of the camp. There's the large truck with the big gun on top, and then there were 2 more kind of Jeep-like vehicles, and they're kind of gathered around all of that. McGowan, you know just from looking at them, there's not anywhere near enough room for everybody, or not near enough, but they're probably not going to have enough room for everyone. Let me think. There's how many of these guys exactly? There's more than 20 of them, and there's probably there's 8 seats in the 3 vehicles, and they could probably fit maybe like another 8 or 10 in the back of the truck.
Okay.
But you would also know that there are tracking devices on these vehicles that the LMD use to recover them or to make sure nobody's stealing their stuff.
I mean, to be fair, once we get into town, we could just abandon the trucks. Like we were planning on keeping those.
We should probably abandon them outside of town.
That too.
There's an LMD base in town, so if we roll up in stolen LMD vehicles, probably not best.
Is there enough scrap metal to make like a sled that we could tow with us?
Also, how many? So there's 4 seats occupied in our vehicle.
Yes,
So could we take?
but one of them is on the outside.
So there's 3 seats occupied inside the vehicle.
Your vehicle is actually over capacity, but because
Yeah.
it's customized, so it's crammed in. A standard Mako actually only has room for 2.
Oh, okay.
Your vehicle is very cramped.
Sorry.
So that's not an option.
No. There is another garage-like structure that these vehicles are parked out in front of.
Let's go check it out.
That you've investigated a few times.
So we did check out the garage, or we have not checked out the
Well,
garage?
it says you guys haven't gone in it, but you've walked past it,
Okay,
and you were
yeah.
and you were fighting nearby it, and you've seen it.
Yeah, let's go check out the garage.
As you guys are walking over that direction, the female Turian that you met, who you freed last time, she walks over, or doesn't walk over, but she kind of comes to meet you guys, and whoever's first, she kind of extends a hand to, offering thanks, and she'll say, "I want to thank you again before we part ways for getting us out of here. We're gonna take these vehicles and find a place to hide out for a while. The LMD will be keen to investigate this place sooner rather than later, and we want to be well clear of it before then. And with the office back in town, might be a little bit too dangerous for us to show our faces in Port Folstone, so we're gonna see if we can find some shelter out in the wilderness. Maybe lay low for a while. We're gonna see if we can get these tracking devices out of these vehicles that they've got to, make sure this kind of thing doesn't happen. But not many of us really are engineers, so if not, we'll just hoof it and we'll see if we can find a cave or.
Well, we have a robot dog.
If we wish to take the time to have me remove tracking devices, I could start looking at them.
She looks down at Alpha in his Varen form and is a little taken aback. Yeah, sure. If you think you know how to, disable those things, be my guest.
All right. Yeah, I'll go over to him and start looking at see if I can remove the tracker on them.
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation check first to see if you can find the interface that you would need to link up with to
19.
deactivate this. 19. Yeah, you find it easy enough. It's a little CPU kind of buried down beneath the dash. You do have to kind of actually go ahead and for this. Go ahead and also make a dexterity check to kind of pry the dash off to get underneath it. See what happens.
21.
21? Yeah, easy enough. You find the seams, crack them, set it aside, reach your geth claw in there, pull out the CPU, still connected to the wires, and you activate your Omni tool and go ahead and make an electronics check now, please.
That one I'm actually proficient in. 19.
Okay, 19. This is a bit more challenging, and it does take some finagling. You can tell that these devices were designed to be difficult to crack, but you are able to do it after a couple of minutes of tinkering and experimenting. And yeah, so for the first vehicle, it's easy enough. Now that you know where the CPUs are, go ahead and for the other two vehicles, make electronics checks, just because you've already done the work from figuring out where they are and how to get access to them.
17 on one, and 21 on the other.
Which role for which vehicle? Because there's the two Jeeps, which you've done one of, and then there's another Jeep and a bigger truck.
I would probably do since I already did one of the Jeep, I'll probably do the other Jeep next, since I already did that one. So that one would have been the 17.
Okay. So the 17 is not going to be successful enough, but the 21 will, and you're able to get the big truck deactivate the tracker and deactivate it. For the other vehicle, I actually need you to roll a dexterity check real quick. Let me double check, make sure I have that correct. Yeah, dex save.
6.
6, yeah, so you are struck by another overload. So let me roll some damage for you there. 9 points of lightning damage. And you feel some of your circuits cook a little bit. And when you kind of step back. If you had hair, it would be standing straight up, but you kind of just stand there, just kind of like twitch a little bit. Your Geth eyes kind of blink. You kind of shake it off, and the CPU has been. It's going to take a bit more work to get it in, and with the security measures triggered, there's going to be an extensive cooldown period before you'll be able to try again.
I have removed the tracking devices from 2 of the vehicles. The third one, unfortunately, I was unable to remove. You can take the 2 that had the devices removed and find yourself a safe location.
All right. Yeah, we could do that. We could go take a couple of trips. I think maybe we've scavenged around. Who's got the car sounds in the background?
Yes.
Me.
I thought that was you doing like you were starting up the fucking
I mean, I was getting rid of the tracker, making sure that they're working. That's just me starting up the car.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That messes with my ADHD so bad.
To be fair, apparently,
please don't do that stuff.
It really fucked me up
It
too.
completely shatters my train of thought.
just to give you an idea of how good these Yeti Blue mics are. That is in the parking lot outside of my apartment. That was an actual car starting. That wasn't a sound effect I did.
Oh jeez. All right. Well, it's a different story. Jeez.
Wow.
All right.
Yeti Blue.
Get a
Well, there you
worse
go.
microphone.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's too good. It's too good.
It sounded like we were inside the fucking car.
It really did. It sounded like somebody started a fan next to their computer.
Yeah, and that car's going to be solid.
Jeez.
Probably 30 or 40 yards away.
Wow.
All right. Well, in any case, the female Turian again. We should be able to make a couple of trips between the weapons that you all left laying around after I presume you were the ones who dealt with the guards. She kind of gestures to the aftermath of the first big battle that you had here.
That might have been
still,
partly me.
Still it's been within an hour easily of that battle, so it's still fresh. And she gets a few other familiar faces step forward. The Solarian, who wasn't talking very much but was very focused, and the Krogan, the kind of emaciated looking Krogan. They kind of start helping her organize and pull, get people kind of together in groups, assign people weapons, get people guarding so that while they drive off with these other vehicles, they're not just leaving these other people here completely defenseless. And so they start taking care of that as you guys kind of stand there and begin to kind of prepare yourselves to make your way. So if there's nothing else you guys want to do, your Mako awaits you across the frozen lake,
Wait.
a few hundred feet away.
What is Veracor Grom doing?
Grom is the guy back in town.
Oh, fuck. I swear to God, I wrote his name down. I fucked it up. Oh, Nakmor Call.
Nakmor Call. He's kind of just... He's basically just helping people to get organized, showing people how to hold a weapon properly and,
Okay, so I just give him like a look. Even if he doesn't look back, I'm just like, he made it out. And then we keep going. We can go to the Mako.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, you do see a few of them. Do have some injuries, presumably those from the group that you kind of sent on their way to clear out the last room with Call kind of leading them before your big battle would have been like right at the end of our session 2 sessions ago.
Yeah, I was worried about
so
it.
they did take it. Yeah, they did take you do see that some of them did take some hits during the fight, but it looks like everybody made it out. So yeah, you guys begin your trek across the frozen lake, no longer feeling the need to be stealthy or try and stay out of sight. You do know that there were a few other guards around, so go ahead and one or two people go ahead and make a perception check as you're walking around, just to see if you can find the guards. Because there were a couple of groups that were patrolling in a wide perimeter, like well outside of the camp, kind of in the darkness.
The guy doesn't see shit.
I'll roll.
16.
Oh, you.
16.
Perception
Well,
is
it's actually
wisdom.
if you only have a range of 60 feet, right? Because you have like the night vision as a geth.
Night sight, correct.
Night sight, yeah, because everybody else would be at disadvantage anyways. So within that 60-foot radius, you don't see anything. You could keep an eye out, making your way to the camp. Again, aware that there are these guards here, but you don't see them on your way back. They've either spread out or perhaps the workers dealt with them or something, but they remain unseen. So you find your way back to your Mako, which sits where you left it. Kind of looking at it from the outside as you approach, you can see a few of the metal plates on like the undercarriage are a little loose after your rough drive out here, all the way back in our very first episode. But it is there awaiting you, and I don't remember exactly how you guys had arranged yourselves in the seats. But
I was driving.
yeah, I remember that.
I was
Yeah,
in
Omega and I
gunner
were just-
turret, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that was correct, Torque.
Yeah, and Omega and I just found a spot where we could be as compact as possible.
Well, I think so. There was with this variant of the Mako, because it's like a heavily modified one, and it's a piece of junk, really. No, this isn't a bad thing. I'm just trying to remember how I had divvied up the seats because it was a little bit different because it was a special Mako. So yeah, we had McGowan at the helm, Torque on weapons, Alpha at the security systems and communications,
Oh yeah.
and Rhea was at the electronic warfare suite. So you guys can go ahead and take those same seats if you'd like, or you can switch them up, whatever you want to do.
That works just fine.
Works just fine for me.
And then Omega's kind of compact, squeezed in between everybody else there, and it's really only because he's like a familiar, basically, that he's able to fit in here.
He finds a nice spot to curl up in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me just write this down. Great. So yeah, you guys get started up, and since if you drove out here, it's pretty easy to follow your tracks back to town. So go ahead, McGowan, and just give me one vehicle handling check.
Oh.
Just give me one.
And you also won, and we all die on the way back.
Yeah, I was like, only one? That's a lot of pressure.
We plummet off a cliff, but explode midair for no reason.
You stabbed like 3 Varn
in the
face.
middle of
You
like
could
a
do this.
spiral.
We hit the invisible wall.
We drive
The edge
off
of the
the
map.
edge of the flat Earth. Yeah.
This is the bound. This is
We
the
found it.
invisible. We found the invisible boundary in the video game.
Dude, that would be so funny to put people in a Mass Effect campaign that was like secretly like a flat earther type shit, and you just
That would be.
they didn't know, but they were searching for the edge.
What'd you get, McGowan?
If I've done my math correctly, dirty 20.
Very nice. Yeah, easy enough. Your tracks are pretty fresh. Only a couple hours old, so you're able to just retrace your steps, avoiding the major hazards that you encountered on the way. Like the kind of small cliff that you accidentally ramped off last time you go around and find a path, and you're able to get your tracks back. And yeah, you're able to navigate your way through and back onto the road. And, all this takes a couple hours. It takes about as long as it did to get out there. You go a little bit faster through the wilderness since you've been through it recently. But, as you come back to Port Falstone, it's around midnight. The city is, I wouldn't say it's illuminated, like it's not this shining beacon in the night, but you can see as you're driving down the road, you can see the lights from a few miles away, coming up over the walls. In the city, coming at it from the ground, it's sort of nestled up against the base of a mountain, or the base of a mountain range. So it's not quite like surrounded on all sides by the mountain, but like the back side of it is, and there's kind of a large curved wall that hems in the rest of it. The wall is more of I would say like an 1800s kind of like military fort type wall, rather than like a big massive stone wall. It's made of like sheets of metal, bolted and riveted together. It's probably 20 feet tall at most. And there's lights spaced evenly across it. And you can see Town Watch, like kind of the local police force, basically kind of walking its lengths, keeping an eye on things. The front door is open. And as you approach, you drive through. You can see Torque, you in particular, since you're outside. You're and by this point, you've got the cover of the gun position open. It's a little stifling. It's like a big metal box that you close around yourself that has like little tiny slitted windows on either side. So unless you're in a fight, it's a little claustrophobic.
And I'm just big as hell, like in this.
He's like, it's like a clown car.
Keep it steady.
Yeah, I see a few of them kind of monitor your progress as you enter. But you have made your way back into Port Fullstone. You're able to drive your vehicle most of the way to Grease, but the streets that his bar is on are a little bit narrow, so you can either take it back to the garage, or you can just park it on the street somewhere where there's room. It's up to you guys.
I'll park it at the garage.
Okay. Yeah, so you're able to take it back to Vericor's barter and surplus. The big front garage door at this time of night is closed, but he's got a really big open driveway basically out in front. His section, the city is not cordoned off into nice even properties. He's basically got like an aircraft hangar, like to it that he runs his shop and like warehouse and maintenance workshop out of. And so it's like fenced in, and it has like a big open kind of dirt ground patch out in front. When you pull it out there, you see some lights on inside, but you don't see any signs of the owner of the establishment or his two pet Varen who were kicking it out front before. You climb out, and you have the city before you. So unless anybody wants to go talk to Vericor, it's a 20-minute walk back to Grease from here.
It's like given the time, he's probably not in the office, so we should probably find us a place to stay until the morning.
Bree's place, that's the sort of place that would have rooms, right?
Yeah, there is a second floor there. Yes.
Don't I already have a room?
Yeah. Yep. You have one there.
So Rhea would have one too then?
Yeah.
So that just leaves you and me going. Should we just get a room as well and just
Yeah.
meet together again in the morning?
Yeah.
Wait, so we can't turn in the mission right now? Is that what I'm gathering?
Well, we can just head there and find out. But
Yeah. You don't know. Gree might be up. He may not be. You don't really know if he's a night owl or not. But you
may be completely sleepless.
Yeah, could be a demigod who never needs to sleep, and he just sustains himself on the power of the sun.
Yeah.
Only I could be so grossly
He's probably-
incandescent.
he's probably not that, but
Mhm.
you never know.
That sounds exactly like the kind of thing a DM who is trying to hide the fact that an NPC was that would say.
I mean, you just never know. You just never know.
Yeah, we might as well swing out there. Worst case scenario, he's not there when he come back in the morning.
Well, my whole thing is that, we're going to have to go back to that door at some point, right? So, who do we tell now who will guard that shit so that we don't have to fight our way in again? Although I'm also game for that.
I mean,
I think it'll still end up being the same guy because I mean he hired us to go out there and
yeah.
investigate it. He'll probably be the one who knows the people we can hire to come guard it.
Right. So
Torque,
that's why.
Torque and Rhea have been in town the most. Like, we've got Greedy's faction and the LMD. Are there any other players in town? Or
Torque,
are those kind of it?
Torque, since Rhea isn't here, why don't you roll a history check at advantage to see if you recall hearing anything about that in town.
At advantage.
Yep, just since Rhea's not here, it simplifies it a little bit.
Oh, I don't have a bonus to history. My highest roll is a 14.
You've heard some things. You guys have actually encountered a member of the Red Corsairs, the Solarian. Let me pull him up real quick. I think Jado Kinsall. He owns the cafe diner place you guys went to. He offered to trade credits for weapons and gear and stuff that you brought back from your expedition.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. Is that why you wanted to make a sled?
Actually, I wanted to make a sled just because it sounded like we were going to be able to fit everybody. So people that didn't fit could just be on a sled.
What the fuck? Yeah, okay.
But yes, we could. I mean, we can still go back and we can gather stuff up. I'd recommend touching base first because he might have a vehicle, like a utility vehicle that with an open truck we can dump stuff into.
Yeah, he was a Solarian, a ship captain. He was the captain of the Lucky Pyjack, as he introduced himself. Aside, Pyjacks are a pretty common pest creature in Mass Effect. They're a bit like a rat mixed with a monkey. They're blue and white with like stripes, and they're kind of cute, but they breed like crazy and they get into everything, and they are pretty ubiquitous. They're on almost every inhabited planet at this point.
Okay, so he's being cute about it.
Yeah. The deal that he had offered you was if you wanted to bring anything back to him, he would pay you for it. There wasn't like a contract or an obligation.
Ah, we missed a chance. Unless we want to go back.
I mean, well, we can still go back. I still recommend touching base with the guy that hired us first because he might have a vehicle that we can use to bring stuff back with. Then, I mean, if all else, we can go touch base with him, and then if he's not there, we can go back and grab some stuff.
Yeah,
or we can go.
We're already here. Might as well. Or I mean, the mission might end if we go turn it in right now. Basically,
I don't know if it works that way.
I realize it is fucking D&D. Yeah.
It's quite possible we might go into there and we tell him what we found, and then he just tries to shoot us on the spot.
He might.
But that's besides the point.
I have armor. We'll be fine.
And just continuing on with your history check there, Torque, real quick.
Yes, please.
You've also kind of walking around the town and talking with people who live here. You're aware that there's the local magistrate's office who kind of run the security forces here. There are also kind of notably there is the Chapel of the Omnis, which is like a weird techno religion that you don't really know too much about. They're not like a hugely popular religion. They're pretty like niche and reclusive, and they have little outposts and chapels in different places, but they're not like a huge deal really. Let's see, for the magistrate's office, see if there's anything else relevant for that. Nope. Yeah, just there's maybe his name is Magistrate Danvers. He basically runs he's sort of the chief / mayor, sort of the head honcho of the town. But other than that, there's not a lot of politics going on in a place like this. It usually keeps to himself. It's these recent developments with the LMD that are
about the Prothean artifact elevator door thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that have religious connotations? Like, do you think that these like people might be good to ask?
I don't know. I guess that's for you guys, I guess, to discuss, I suppose.
Or is there any reason to talk to these people?
Is Torque making this is Torque making this known to everyone?
No, I was asking the DM about the history check, basically.
Yeah.
I would. We can make a. Let's see. Well, I would say you're a Krogan, you've been around for a long time. I would say you can go ahead and make a history check again as well, but this would be a pretty high DC since this is a little more niche.
Yeah, I have no buff to history, so fuck. Motherfucking 12.
Woo!
No, you don't know much about them. They're like a techno cult. They don't like control a government or anything, as far as they're just kind of like a small group of religious worshipers who place a lot of value on old technology.
Okay. After pondering for a second, I just want to turn to the group and say,
my biggest wonder is what's on the other side of that door. How do we get in that door?
Given the resources and connections of our employer, he might have additional information and or tools we can use to try to get through that door. It looked like they were trying for a while to get into there and they could not.
Should we go talk to him?
I think we probably should go talk to him before we make any other decisions.
I concur. He might provide additional information or tools that we can use.
Rhea, you down?
Yes, I think he's our best bet. He probably knows someone who knows someone, if nothing else.
Ray, you feeling okay? Your voice is sounding a little low there.
Oh, I'm choosing not to use my accent today.
okay, I just like start walking towards the.
Yeah, I follow.
Oh, is it the bar?
Yeah, a Grease Tap.
That's right.
GREE''S.
With the Krogan chef, right?
Nope, that was at the White Star Cafe.
Damn it.
That was that was where you met Jado Kinsall, the Red Corsair.
Oh man. I need to take better notes.
Yeah, somebody should take notes. If you don't, you should have someone who's like an assigned note taker.
So here's the thing. I have been taking notes, but I have one notebook for every campaign. So it's fucking hard.
I have one notebook for basically all my shit, so I'm like, oh, all right.
I mean, that's about a 20-minute walk to Grease Tap in the dark. There's at night actually a lot of the color of at least the colored lights of the city stand out. There's fluorescent lights. Kind of if as you're walking down kind of the main streets in some of the busier areas, there's lots of pink and purple and green and yellow and blue, like neon lights and displays outside of restaurants, nightclubs, just regular old, mercantile shops, restaurants, all these different buildings have, these holographic or, physical neon flashing signs. And so that mixes with the kind of white street lights. And it actually, on the busier streets, everything is actually pretty well illuminated. And even on the side streets where there's a little bit more activity, it's pretty easy to find your way. And eventually you find yourself standing inside Grease Tap, much as you left it. There's the four people that were in here before. Torque, you've seen them here all the time. These four individuals. Reminder, there was a Krogan male who is in like a sort of a mechanic's jumpsuit kind of a thing. He's dark green scales. There's a human female with short red hair and a scar running along her left cheek. A human male with dark hair, gray patches at his temples, and like a thick mustache. And a Drell wearing a rebreather mask to help the Drell accommodate for their low tolerance for high humidity environments, or environments with lots of moisture in them.
High humidity.
He's gray-skinned. And the bottom half of their face is covered completely. So all you see are their big, really dark Drell eyes, kind of poking out over the top of the mask. You see the four of them. When last we saw them, they were all kind of sitting at the bar. Now they're kind of like scattered around. You can see the two humans are actually like sitting opposite each other in a corner booth, sleeping, like leaning back, eyes closed, kind of feet kicked up on the table. The Krogan is sitting at the bar, kind of back to the table, looking at the door as you guys are coming in. And the Drell is sitting to your left, looking kind of the other way, leaning forward on the table, just checking you out, not mean mugging you or anything, but just, observing you, making sure you're not about to start some shit, basically. You don't see Gree's wife, the Turian female Skaya, who was in here earlier. And Gree is also absent, or Wayland is also absent. Gree is the surname.
Wayland.
The Drell from over on the left says, "He's upstairs sleeping. But I take it you're back from the job."
That's correct.
"I'll go get him." And the Drell stands up. And Drell are not terribly physically imposing. They're fairly slender, lithe, but this Drell is particularly graceful as they move across the hall. There's no their gait and their pace is just smooth, and it's like a panther almost. Graceful, but you can tell there's a lot of danger and potential energy stored in that body. And they walk out, and you hear footsteps going up a set of metal stairs that are kind of through the back. And a few minutes later, you see Wayland come down. He's kind of just in a dirty, plain clothes, or not dirty, not filthy dirty, but they look a little rumpled and disorganized. He's kind of like rubbing two of his four eyes. The other two up top are blinking, kind of like coming into focus, and he kind of looks at you guys and says, "You're back. Come with me." And he kind of waves you back towards his office.
All right.
We'll follow him.
Right, so he sits down, or you follow him into the office, and he reaches into one of the cabinets and he pulls out a bottle of liquor, and he pours himself an inch or two into a tumbler and takes a swig and sets it down. As he sits down, open bottle to his right. Well, all four of you came back alive. That's good to see. What'd you find? Get anything good for me?
I was purposely not talking last time we were here, so
Oh,
I
that's
could
right.
talk if you want. Because he doesn't know of anything other than attack dogs.
This is what I was trying to talk about before. I wonder like how much he should know, but I guess we should just tell him.
Yeah, he's our employer. So.
We found a whole lot of foot soldiers who didn't make it, and a Prothean artifact.
You say a lot of foot soldiers didn't make it. He nods, sort of like expecting that piece of information. You say Prothean. You see the two eyes on his left side, the kind of like shared brow raises. Prothean. You certain about that?
As certain as that elevator took us down into the ground, and there was a crazy big door that we could not open.
Oh shit! That's what I was afraid of.
What?
All right. Well, this is about to get a lot more complicated than I was hoping it would. But
Seems that way.
well, I was hedging my bets and hoping that it wouldn't be that. But prepare for the worst, expect for the best, as they say. We'll come back to that. Well, it's what I say, and if they don't say it, they can fuck themselves, I guess. All right. Finishes off his glass, pours himself another couple inches. We'll come back to that. That's something I got to think about. That maybe something else some of that other information that you were supposed to go and find may illuminate some of this for me.
I'm lost. What did you ask, Dan?
Nothing. So it's not important. It was a dumb
Okay,
comment.
alright. What other information do we have for the men?
We have the information. We have the information that I gathered from their computer. Does he have a terminal on his desk?
Yes.
All right, I'm just gonna walk over to the terminal, and then have my little USB. Stick it into there, and then use this monitor to go through and start showing some of the data that we gathered from the officer's computer.
He sees you do that. He watches you taking a small drink. He'd seen you before, but he's just very curious. So he watches as you do your thing, and he looks over at his computer terminal as, the information starts to be downloaded onto his terminal. Looks like you found quite a bit. I'll take a look at that. How about that security key? Get one of those for me too, for the bonus.
Yep, I'll go through and cough it on out and put it on the desk.
I don't know if that was disgusting or not, but thank you. Kind of seeing you like puke out this data, this like hard light pass card. He picks it up and kind of inspects it carefully. No, I mean I don't think it's slimy, but it still came out of a robot dog's mouth, so he's still kind of
yeah, it's just a storage compartment, but it still looks like a dog puking it out.
Is it slimy? It looks like it'd be slimy.
It doesn't feel slimy, but I don't completely trust it. All right, we'll put that over there for now. I'll wipe that off in a little bit. Great. Well.
Meanwhile, he can't talk in this scene, so we do not know if he's offended or not.
All right, well.
I understand biologicals have this disgusting factor that luckily we don't have to worry about.
Biologicals are filled with slime.
Biofactories. He pulls up his Omni tool and he kind of punches in a couple commands and he says, "All right, well, I've transferred 50,000 Galactic Standard credits for the information on the large file I'm downloading here, and another 15,000 standard credits to each of you for the passkey. So you all should have 65,000 Galactic Standard credits transferred into your personal accounts." in just a few moments here. Spend it wisely. Now, this Prothean stuff that you found, describe it for me in as much detail as you can. I need to know if the LMD found something Prothean, they're not like to let go of it quite so easily. And the more information I know about it, the more information I can pass along to my associates who know a bit more about that sort of thing.
Well, you should find some data about it on the slimy flash drive you just got.
Good. But what did you tell me? What you saw? What did I'm sure the information on this in this data file dump will be, clinical. But what did you see? Describe it to me.
Well, there was a plain stone pillar with green glowing lights and letters that came up and down it. When they looked close, it had an elevator door.
Interesting. All right. So they found on the surface, anyways, some kind of access point.
Access point, elevator, if that's what you want to call it.
All right. Where did it take you? What'd you find when you got out?
We went down what felt like miles and came out in a cavern, a cave with a door that had a big blue person on it?
That was a Prothean face.
It was stone. There was no coloration to it. It was just dark stone.
Why did I think it was blue? Alright.
In your defense, blue seems to be the sort of default alien color these days. So
Exactly.
I don't blame you. It's not green anymore. We've shifted to blue now.
Right. Alien.
All right. So there's some Prothean something behind that door. I don't know. I don't know enough about the Protheans myself, but I know a couple people here in town who do. Might take me a couple days to reach out and hear a reply back from them. And I don't know what it will lead to, but if you all are still interested in working together, I might have a job for you again in a couple of days.
There was a distress signal that was sent out that we managed to cut off early. However, it still might have gotten part of it out, so time is of the essence.
Wayland is in the middle of a drink, and when you start talking, he sprays it all over the countertop. I mean, he looks up at you guys, looks down at Alpha. Why didn't anyone tell me this damn thing talked?
Don't ever underestimate the data dog.
I suppose not. He sort of somewhat, with a bit of a huff, pours himself another drink, having to spit out half of it.
I repeat said inquiry. There was a distress signal that was sent out that we managed to cut off. However, part of it might have gotten out, so time is of the essence.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well,
why
the
don't you
L&D
go talk to your friends?
The L&D are likely to find out somebody did something at that outpost one way or another, but if they managed to get a distress beacon out, that'll speed things up, I'm sure. Probably come back here to town, to their outpost, their office or whatever it is. So whoever's running the show over there these days, it's changed a lot since I've been around, since they set up shop over there. Whoever's running the show over there probably already knows.
What if we go take down the shop? Will that slow them down?
I would not advise that. Whatever you guys ran into at that
Yeah.
camp was, I'm sure it sounded like it was a lot of grunts. That structure is going to be, with the increased activity that's been going on the last few months, that structure is likely to be much more heavily guarded.
Yeah, that camp was light work compared to what they've got at their base.
The LMD can bring a lot of disposable force to bear when they want to.
And attacking somebody out in the wilderness versus attacking their base in the middle of a city. Different levels of attention.
And I would stay clear of it, honestly, if I were you.
Just a hypothetical. I've done crazier stuff. We can skip it. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't have anything more for you now, work-wise, but I might have something for you in a couple of days once I have time to mull over this information and speak with some folks around town who know a little bit more about Protheans and the like than I do.
Very well.
Do you know of mercenaries and their securities that we can use to keep people away from that site until we are ready for it?
Well, I'll see what I can do. Like I said, the LMD is going to want to move back in anyways, and frankly, I don't have the resources in town to stop them from doing that if they decide to move in force. We've slowed them down a bit, which is good. It'll buy us some time, that's for sure. If they were close to cracking that door open that you found, it'll take them a bit longer to do that now. It might be just enough time we need. And I don't think that they've got the forces necessary at their office here in town, but they can call it in. And if they've been sending as many supplies as they have these last few months, I'm likely to think that they've got a ship or two close by that can ferry supplies pretty quickly. Which means manpower, firepower, and everything else required to support that. So,
in how many days?
I don't know how many days it is, but once a week they send shipments out to that camp. So
often enough,
we'll see.
Problem.
I'll process this information as quick as I can, and if you all want to go ahead and get clear of it, I certainly don't blame you. But like I said, I may have a job for you in a couple of days if you're interested.
Well, at this point in time, we might be walking into a heavier fight than we had before. Do you have recommendations, connections, and/or discounts that we could use to get ourselves more prepared before this job comes up?
Oh, I don't know about discounts, but there's a few places around town I could point you in the right direction. If you're looking for some money, just trying to make a little bit of extra credits on the side, there's always bounties up at the magistrate's office. It pays pretty well usually. There's a couple of shops around town if you're looking to buy stuff. Obviously, there's Grom's place, but there's there's also what's his name? He's an Elcor. Delzino. He moved into town about 6 years ago. Delzino's Market. It's a general store. He's got about everything you could need, but he's got all your basic supplies, food, odds and ends. I've heard he sells a few kind of techie stuff, maybe OmniTool programs, things like that. And then there's McCracken's #1 firearms. You'll want to go talk to Carolyn McCracken, the owner. She's a hunter. She's an old trophy hunter.
McAllen, is she a distant cousin of yours?
And then I don't think they've got anything on the docket, so it might not be worth it. But if you head to these coordinates, he punches something in and he sends it out to your OmniTools. You'll find what looks like it's an old vehicle repair bay, small local stuff, farming equipment mostly, nothing big, heavy duty or anything like that. You should find a couple folks standing outside. If you tell them that Waylon Gree sent you, they should show you something that may or may not pique your interest. Can't say too much about it, you understand, but it's an opportunity to make a little bit of money, maybe make a name for yourself a bit. Like I said, I don't know if they've got anything on the docket, but asking around you might find something interesting. We'll just say that. But I think your best bet probably going to be the Magistrate's Bounty Board. If you're looking for work, while I'm following up on these leads that you're so helpfully providing.
I'd check it out. I love a bounty.
Yeah, they've usually got a few jobs. Mostly around these parts, it's hunting red corsairs and slaying beasts and things, troubling farmers in the area. Nothing outside your skill range, I'm sure. Could be easy money for you.
At this point, there's nothing further we can do for a couple days. I suggest finding a place to stay, and then tomorrow gearing up and doing some of these bounties for additional cash flow.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Waylon, could you set us up with some place to stay? Do you have that ability?
I've got some rooms upstairs that you can pay for if you'd like.
We have to pay for them.
Well, you and Rhea are already paying for the rooms, but
I am assuming that we will get the employee rate, considering that we are currently your favorite employees.
yes, you do, and that would be what everyone else pays. It's 5 credits a night.
5 credits a night.
That's not that bad.
No sweat.
He just gave us what, 65,000. So
Yeah, I need to make a little bit on the upkeep. You understand?
you know what?
Pay him double.
Yeah.
I certainly won't turn down money.
Yeah, McGowan will buy a room for himself and Omega for a week.
Okay,
I'm
so
assuming
that's
you pay per.
35.
Oh, I'm assuming you pay
can-
per room, not per occupant, correct?
Yeah, per room.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we've been staying in rooms together at this point in time because I just need a corner to sit down and recharge.
Yeah. So 1 room for a week, so 35, you said?
Yeah, it'd be 35 credits for the week. Just really, really cheap, but this place isn't really a hotel. So
Yeah.
it's kind of for people who are in his employ.
Ooh, like us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you guys go upstairs, Torque, you and Rhea's rooms are already up here. It's 8 rooms total. They're all pretty small. They're not particularly spacious or well furnished, but they're comfy and a little cozy. There's no kitchenette or anything. It's a bed, a place to, if you've got any baggage with you, there's like a dresser or like a side table. There's a little bit of a place to like wash up if you want, and a toilet, and that's kind of it.
As long as there's a place to lean my hammer, and then I take it off my back.
Is that what you're calling it? Heyo.
Hey.
You should hear what they call it back on Tachanka.
Jackhammer.
Oh God. All right. Well, if there's nothing else you guys want to do before you go to bed, want to have a couple drinks in the the main area or whatever. Otherwise, we can call it a night. Not for us, for you guys.
I figured.
It's only like 8:15 right now.
It's like, yep, and that's the session for the night.
Yeah, we're done, guys. Thanks for joining us. It was fun while it lasted.
We turned in a quest.
That being said, I do need 2 seconds.
I mean, to be fair, we've been doing this for 6 sessions now, and this is the first time we've turned in a quest.
Yeah. I mean, that's not that surprising. McGowan will take some time to sort of clean up, and as he's doing that, he's sort of absentmindedly rubbing the back of his neck a little bit, and then he'll just go to bed.
Yep. Alpha and Omega will just go over to the corner, just drop down into low power mode and start recharging.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna. I don't want to speak too much for Ray, so she'll just go to bed as well. And actually, I guess since Torque has had to step away for a second, I'm also going to step away because I really need to use the bathroom. So we'll be right back in a second, folks.
I'm gonna break. I'm gonna do the same thing.
Just in time for Torque.
Wonder if I'll fade into the background.
I'm sorry. Oh, where'd you go?
Oh, we're all gonna take a break and I'll be back.
All right.
I just bumped my desk really hard. I apologize.
I would have taken a slightly longer break. Damn.
No, I mean, if you were taking a break, it literally would have just been people watching.
Just an empty screen.
Looking at, this with no people.
Just fucking Gabby's raincoat.
Just Gabby's raincoat. A super, super, super old purple chair, and your. I was took out a ceiling at work today, and it had a bunch of old insulation dust in it.
Ew.
And my nose is so full of fucking insulation right now. It's not fun, dude. It sucks.
Damn, you know now.
It sucks.
You didn't just use your COVID mask to
I've come back from outer space.
No, because I had safety glasses on because I'd rather get insulation in my nose than concrete and plaster in my eyes.
Ooh, damn. That's a toss-up, though. That's a hard decision.
You've never had to go to urgent care to get concrete pulled out of your eye, have you?
I did have to go to the urgent care to get stitches in my eyelid once.
Oh, that's pretty gnarly.
Is that close?
It's pretty close. I don't know.
Didn't you fall out of a tree though?
Which
to get the stitches on your eye, Torque, to get the stitches on your eyelid?
No, I threw a stick in the air.
Oh, I knew there was a stick involved somehow.
Because I fucking love Darth Maul. I still play with sticks.
Dude, Ray Park is a really cool guy apparently.
Who?
And Ray Park is the actor who played Darth Maul.
You are.
He does all the motion capture for him too, and the video games and TV shows and stuff that the character's been in, which is pretty cool. Oh, ow, you're gonna hit the audience.
What if I just broke my camera right now?
That just, please don't even tempt it.
Look how much cat hair is on this.
That's disgusting. Don't show that to people.
People,
No one else wants to see your cat's hair.
No, this is my truth. Cat hair. I can't help
Gross.
it that I have a fucking hairy cat. Hold on, I gotta make sure they don't.
I mean, I think everybody has a hairy cat. That's part of the thing, isn't it? I don't have a cat, so I don't actually. I mean, I have a cat, but it's not mine.
I think you maybe don't understand how hairy my cat is. You guys have seen Hughes before. You know Hughes, right?
I think you've had no. I don't think so because I think you got Hughes after the isolations and stuff started.
No. I think we had one session or something.
No, because the last session we had was at Stuart and Maria's for our other game.
I saw Hughes when I came to pick up Lamp. That's when I saw Hughes.
Oh yeah. Let me see if I can find it.
Because I haven't met Hughes. I've seen pictures, but I've not met the mans. Because we've been in quarantine for a year.
I wonder if I held up my cats one at a time, if people could tell the difference.
I mean, I feel like people would just appreciate that, and it would probably help the channel if you showed off your cats, because people like pets,
Honey, come here.
We got pets. We've got a momentary tangent here.
We have a cat break.
We have a pet break.
Look at how hairy this cat is.
New mascot.
Hang on, I want to see this cat.
That's a hairy cat. Oh, cat ran away. This cat will not run away.
Nope. Just hey, what's up? What's going on?
Mine are sleeping in the bedroom. They don't think we're funny.
Cricket, can
All
I
right.
show you off too? Okay, never mind. I guess we're starting again.
Once Torque gets seated here, we'll get back into things.
Man, as soon as I threw a bunch of fucking cat hair all over my... Damn it.
It's a perfect time to eat.
He's so hairy.
Yeah, that was a hairy cat.
Do.
Fuck. My wife was like, "You're showing off our cat and not our baby." I almost just dropped all of this food on the ground.
Please don't do that. At least for your own sake, I suppose.
I went to pull my hand
internet.
away and I was like, "I'm holding weight. Fuck."
All right. Well, so you guys all have a good long rest. So go ahead and heal up to full, get all your spell slots and tech points back. You guys are squared away.
I can cast spells again.
I will take care of Rhea's
Thank you. I had a
thing here. She's got the spreadsheet version of this character sheet, and it's confusing to me.
I was really worried I was gonna have to figure that out.
Let's see, HP. Her hit points are. Let's see, those are defenses. Active character info.
Active character info.
Oh, I wonder if she put her XP in her HP, or her HP in the XP thing.
Oh no!
I had wondered about that too.
I think that's probably what it is. I don't think she's taking any damage. Yeah, the spreadsheet is not the greatest. I'll have to check in with her to make sure that she's got her. Oh, wait, no. It looks like she's supposed to have a max 30, but I don't know how to change it on the. There we go. Okay, so she's at 30 out of 30. I think that's what it looks like. That's what I'm going to go with for now. And if it doesn't work, it's just one of the things when you get used to using D&D Beyond through quarantine and everybody's sheets are online, you can just look at them and it's super convenient. This gets a little, especially when players are gone, because they have other stuff happening that people are forcing them to do. Curse you, theater!
How dare she have a
musical
life?
theater? You've screwed me for the last time.
The arts.
That's actually not true at all. Musical theater has never done anything wrong to me. Anyways,
Must be nice.
That you know of.
Back to the game. You guys wake up the following morning in Grease Tap after having a long rest, and you all one by one kind of make your way down into the main room. If there's anything anybody wants to do before you meet up with people, now's the time. Any morning rituals you might have, or equipment checks that you like to do?
No.
So, you've never been able to smell it on him, but Torque actually wears just like a slap of cologne underneath his armor.
Oh, day bar fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got swag,
Well.
he's got class.
Yeah, you come down into the room, and the 4 guards are still there, kind of taking. It seems like they take it in shifts to keep an eye on things, because at this point, it's a little. We'll say it's about 1 o'clock, or not 1 o'clock. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning.
You are.
So unless anybody, if you guys, you can have a quick breakfast if you want, kind of talk over your plans for the day, figure out what's on the to-do list.
Yeah. McGowan will go to the bar and order some huevos rancheros, because that's the only food I know that exists in Mass Effect universe.
Huevos rancheros.
I will go through and look for a terminal for me to log into so I can gather up a map of the city so that way it's easier for us to find where we want to go.
So we can eat the internet.
If you ask for a map of the city, Sky agree, the Wayland's wife, the Turian, she will upload one to your Omni tools for you. So you have a holographic map of Port Falstone now.
Okay. And once I'm done with that, I'll just go hang out with McGowan until all the biologicals are finished and consuming mass consumables.
Okay. Torque, McGowan, anything you guys?
Eating my.
I mean, you guys kind of need to talk about what you want to do for the day.
So I know we can go collect these bounties, but am I the only one who's curious about those coordinates?
Wait, what coordinates?
Bree said that there was. He gave us some coordinates and told us that we could go.
It would be a vehicle repair bay.
There's some very loud noise going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
your
sounds like a
distortion
robot
is
jet.
super hot. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a vehicle depot or something like that. We told the people hanging around outside that Wayland Bree sent us might have something interesting for us. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure as hell curious.
I'm like licking huevos rancheros off my fingers, and I'm like, I'll follow you if you want to check that out.
Rhea, Alpha, thoughts?
Yeah, no.
What did you call them?
What?
Just kidding.
We will need to make a stop at the Delzinos market to gather personal supplies, and it sounds like the coordinates that Gray gave us would take us to some kind of vehicle repair bay, which possibly would have a better vehicle than we have now. So both situations we will want to go to sometime within the next couple days.
Yeah, we do have a few days to check things out. This is true. Rhea says, kind of sliding into a seat next to you with a cup of tea.
We are good with going to the vehicle repair bay first.
Sure, I don't have any complaints.
Anyone need to make any stops on the way?
Do we want to go back to the base and see if we can recover some weapons and get some cash for them?
We could do that.
It sounds boring though.
Well,
If we are going to do that, we should see about better transportation with more holding space.
Yeah, then we can try it out by going to get those weapons back.
so sounds like well, the only problem with that is if we're going to go back there, we need to go back there soon before the LMD moves back in, unless we want to do all that over again. Which
We could do that first. We would want to go through and look for additional transportation now then.
all right.
Alright, let's go to the garage. We'll follow you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys finish up your breakfast.
That's the plan.
Yes, you guys finish up your breakfast. It takes about 20 minutes for it all to be taken care of. Clean everything off your plates, finish your drinks. But you head out into the Omaran daylight, and it's pretty cold this morning. You are in winter on a pretty cold planet. So it's probably in the high 20s. It's winter for sure. After the snowfall last night, most of the ground, except for the kind of the heavily trodden paths, is covered in 4 or 5 inches of fresh snow. But it's a sunny day today. There's almost no clouds in the sky. It's actually a very beautiful day. And the sun does help take the edge off the chill a bit. But following the coordinates on your map, you doesn't take very long for you to realize that these coordinates are kind of starting to lead you back towards kind of some of the slummier areas of Port Falstone. You see scowling figures in shadowy doorways kind of staring at you as you walk by, people in dirty rags and jumpsuits. The neon of the busier areas is either completely absent or is damaged and flickering here, signs in need of some bad repair and attention. There's piles of trash and detritus kind of stacking up against the walls. They're not quite so visible with the freshly fallen snow covering most of them, but you do see kind of bits of trash sticking out here and there. Eventually you kind of find yourselves down at the end of a street near the base of the mountain. What would be on the, let's see, it would be on, I think, the north side of town, if I recall. And looks like it's mostly residential structures, but on the far side you see something that's a bit like an old-fashioned mechanic shop. There's kind of some red neon lights. And there's very clearly there's a few vehicle bays in a garage. One of the doors is flung open, and outside you see a Drell and a Sari, both in kind of not super filthy, but often worn jumpsuits, each kind of posted up at the side of this open door. There's at a quick glance there's no other activity going on in the area, but obviously if you'd like to look around you can do that.
I'll just do a quick scan just to make sure there's nobody.
Yeah. Make a perception check.
Jesus Christ. Six.
You don't see anything. You see some activity in the windows around you, but you just sort of presume those are people kind of looking out briefly and turning away, or nothing stands out. Everything seems to be all right.
This seems to be the location, so we speak to them about resending us.
Yep. I'll mosey on up to him.
Yeah, I should make that clear that the coordinates are pointing you at that building.
Yeah, I think you.
Yeah, just wanted to make that clear. So you walk up, and as you do, the Asari and the Drell, who are the Drell again is another Drell. This is a green Drell, but they are also wearing a face mask, dehumidifier kind of a thing. And as you, except for they both kind of push off the wall and take a few steps out to face you. They don't, attack you, but they definitely kind of present this physical barrier. They stand up, crossing their arms, kind of sizing you up. And you can see the openly worn pistols on their hips. The Drell holds up a hand. Don't take another step. What's your business?
Waylon Gree said you might have something of interest for us.
Sorry, kind of nudges him with her elbow, and he nods, lowers his hands. Follow me. And he leads you inside the garage. You can see that there are empty vehicle bays here. There are, various tools, workbench, kind of oil-stained workbenches. This place looks like there's been a lot of maintenance done in here. Concrete floor, with the exception of kind of in each of the vehicle bays, there is a set of like kind of corrugated steel, like a hatch, and the Drell punches a code into his Omni tool, and one of the hatches opens up, and you see down a flight of stairs It's dimly lit, and he kind of motions for you all to take a step in as he goes down, and the Asari kind of coming in at the back to kind of both of them escort you down into this area wherever you're going. At the bottom of the stairs, maybe 20 feet down, there's another door, and the Drell pounds on it hard, and there's a little metal slat that slides open, and you see 4 Batarian eyes kind of looking through. They make eye contact with the Drell. There's a bit of a nod. Thing slides open, and the door opens up, and you're led in. And just looking around, you find yourselves in a really large space. You can kind of tell that it's, with how close this building is to the mountains, this is kind of like under and back a bit from the building. There are 2 guards immediately inside, the Batarian and a Turian, both of them armed with rifles instead of pistols. They're both in probably medium armor, based on the look of it. And it's probably about a 200 foot square space, so it's pretty big. It's not massive, but it's a pretty good open area. And the walls are empty, but you see surrounding a cage are bleachers, stacks of bleacher chairs. And sitting at the top of one, you see a Turian flanked by 2 humans in medium armor, both toting rifles, and the Turian is kind of lounging back in the bleachers, kind of resting on one arm, a drink in his clawed fingers, kind of just sitting there casually. And the Drell who led you in kind of looks you all up and down one last time. If Gree sent you over, he meant for you to talk to the boss. Go ahead and walk over, but don't say anything until he speaks to you. And he backs out with the Asari and the 2 other guards, close the door and lock it, leaving you guys in this chamber. It's dimly lit. It's kind of a dull orange light. You can tell the floors are pretty filthy. It looks like a fighting pit, underground fighting pit. There's currently no fight going on. There's no one in the bleachers except for the 3 individuals you can see. It's quiet in here.
So obviously we're here to sign Torka.
I wouldn't be opposed.
Nothing like a little morning exercise.
Wait, what are you saying?
A little morning exercise. Go throw you in the fight pit for a couple rounds. That way you wake up, you're all kinks are all worked out.
The guy will head over to where the person who is apparently the boss is.
Is at wherever
Where
he is at.
Wherever he is at. I got very little sleep last night. I'm a little bit spacey tonight.
That's all right. That's all right.
Bro,
as you approach,
I haven't had a full night's sleep for like 2 weeks. Baby status.
That makes sense.
As you walk over, you can see the Turin. He's dressed in, it's like the Mass Effect equivalent of a tracksuit. It's clean. It's very clean, and it looks new. Like looks pretty new, but it's like kind of loose fitting on his Turian body. Kind of it's like a bright blue color. And as you guys kind of walk into his field of view, the Turian looks kind of down into his right, and he leans back and he kind of starts to look at you all one at a time. He's, come on over here. I need to get a good look at you.
All right.
I'll head over.
Same.
Kind of eyes you up and leans, kind of sits up and looks you over, stroking his chin with his clawed hand. Sorry, he's got 2 fingers and a thumb, if anybody cares. Like most Tyrians. I recognize talent when I see it. I think you 4 could do some damage. Don't have anything going on today, but I've got a fight coming up in a few days that I might have some room for you in if that's what you're here for. I presume that's what you're here for. Nobody comes down here unless they're here for a fight. Or to watch the fight, but that's on fight nights, as you can plainly see. There's no fight going on right now. Now, who told you about this place? You know, I'm sure you didn't walk in here. My guys upstairs wouldn't let you in if someone hadn't sent you.
Wayland Bree sent us.
Ah, Wayland, my good friend. Ah, yes. Yes, I'm sure he would have thought you might be good for the pits. Well, let me introduce myself. And he stands up, and even for a Turian, he's tall and thin. Not like emaciated thin, he just happens to be a little bit thinner. And I'm Vagrant, and this, he kind of gestures out in the grandiose fashion out to the rest of this empty room, is my pit. You could call it Vagrant's pit if you'd like. And, once every lunar cycle, I like to have a small tournament. You know, people placing bets, picking their favorite teams. You know, people like yourselves who look like they've got some martial talent.
Just cut to the chase. Is it a fight to the death or not?
No, not to the death. If we had fights to the death, this place would have been closed down years ago.
Hey, so if we all enter, we can fight each other.
Well, it's a team-oriented affair, typically.
Oh.
You pick your gang, another gang pits up against you. Sometimes they throw in a few wild cards just to keep things interesting, and whoever comes out on top can collect a pretty healthy prize.
I'm game. Do you guys
What
want
are
to be a gang?
what are the rules? What's allowed?
Well, I mean, it's technically a fight to the death, I suppose, but what we'll do for you and everyone else will I've got a special made Omni-Tool program that'll keep you from dying, keep you from bleeding out, and it'll keep you from your heart from stopping. And what it'll do is it'll kind of hold you in a stasis field, keep you from expiring, and it'll teleport. And that'll give an opportunity for some of my little drone friends that I kind of keep on standby to come in and teleport you out, get you to safety. You're out of the fight once you're down. You can't go back in. But you won't die. And after the fight, we'll uninstall the program. You know, it's proprietary. You can't let it get out there. It's technically not legal, as I'm sure you could probably guess.
It sounds like the most amazing thing I've ever heard.
Well, the thing is, it's very short term. You only get one use out of it before it's done. So.
Orc is like, oh my god, we just found Disneyland.
Single use only. Just you understand that if people who've been in my fighting pit leave here with technology like that and just somehow can't die, that might start people asking some questions. And I've been able to
where can I get it?
Exactly, and I don't want them to come and find me, because if they do, I have to close this place down. And if I have to close this place down, that makes me very mad. So. But it's all in good fun, and, I can, if you're interested, I can save you a spot. If not, you're free to go. Of course, I think it goes without saying that you shouldn't tell anybody about this place. So rules. The organization of this tournament. It's a 4-team elimination. One team versus another. The winner of each of those bouts goes on to face the next team. Whoever wins that final fight takes the whole pot. Winner takes all, no second prizes.
I wouldn't play if I didn't expect first place anyway.
I like to hear that. You've got some spirit, I can
Yeah,
tell. But you are a Krogan, so I guess it's to be expected.
What's that supposed to mean?
Hey, it means your people like to fight, don't they?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, see, I know what I'm talking about. No hard feelings. No hard feelings, of course. The genophage thing in the past, I was never even born for it. If you asked me, the whole thing was a bit ridiculous and a bit overstepping some bounds. But, hey, nobody asked me, so.
Yeah, we didn't.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm always up for a scrap, so.
All right. Well, if you want to put your name down on the list, there's a 25,000 credit buy-in per team member.
Oh, you saved that to the last detail, huh?
Hey, I got to sell you on it first before you decide if you want to do it or not. Like I said, you're always free to walk away. That being said, if you decide today maybe it's not the day to sign up.
God damn it. And then I go to my Omni tool and send him the money.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's one. That's one.
Yeah, McGowan will do the same.
Okay.
I'm just gonna round my money down because I hate that we gave the shopkeeper 35 credits and now I have 92,965 credits.
You didn't give him 35 credits. I gave him 35.
Well, Torque's paying separate.
Yeah.
I know. I paid for my shit, which was 35.
Dan, your connection is getting very bad. I don't know if there's.
It's poor.
I mean, I haven't paid for shit yet, so I'm at a nice even number.
Yeah, my connection's done.
Normally it's not an issue, but you're cutting out kind of bad right now. But it's fine. It's not bad enough where we can't understand what you're saying. Okay, so I'm making a note for Rhea. I'm making a note for Rhea for next time. All right.
What was that total again?
25,000.
Okay.
All right. Well, like I said, it's going to be a few more days, probably 5 days or so before the next fight. But I've got your name down on the list. You've got your spot saved. So, day before, I'll send you a little bit of reminder, tell you the time when you're supposed to show up, what you need to bring. All that information will be sent to your Omni tools in a few days' time.
What am I going to wear?
It's up to you. You can wear as much or as little as you'd like. I do not care.
Don't tempt him.
He's your teammate. As far as I see, it's your responsibility. If I give him a bad idea, well, maybe it makes things more interesting. Now, is there anything else I can do for you, Fine Four? Or does that conclude our business?
There's 5 of us, and I point to Omega.
Oh. I didn't see him back there. He's hiding behind you. You're very big. 5 of you, then.
Bark, foreign noises, bark.
I've never seen anything like that before. That's interesting. But I look forward to seeing what it can do in the fight.
All right. I guess we'll come back in a couple of days then.
I'll let you know when you should come back. You'll get a message from my network.
Oh, we'll get a message from the network. He'll let us know. All right. And then I'm just going to turn my back and start walking away.
How big again did you say that cage was?
The whole room, the cage is inside a 200 square foot space, and the cage is probably like 2/3, 3/4 of the whole space.
So fairly big.
Yeah, it's a big pit. You can see if you want, actually go ahead, and if you want to go up and take a look at it, make a perception check, you could kind of see if you can spot any interesting things maybe about it.
I will. I've been rolling so well on perception tonight. I made that joke, and then I actually did get a decent perception roll. 17.
It's empty right now, but you see what look like kind of what are probably openings in the floor where terrain features can be raised into the space. You see, so it's a big cage, and you see around the perimeter there are 4 big circles that are probably like 15 feet across. Could be how teams are brought up into the space potentially, or other things are. There are a lot of blood stains, or real dark stains that you presume are blood. There are chips and scrapes taken out of the floor. You can see part of the arena is like a sand pit, so there's kind of a variance of terrain within the arena. It looks like this is less like a boxing ring and more like a battlefield miniaturized.
They're kind of like an indoor paintball field, just Mass Effect.
Yeah,
style.
yeah, a bit like that, but with a lot more signs of bloodshed.
That was exactly the information I was looking for. When you said there was a cage in a room, I was like, "But this is more
guy in the cage."
Yeah, no, it's definitely more of like a miniaturized battlefield than it is like an MMA cage or something like that.
You are.
So you guys are led back out into the streets of Omara, and where was the next destination you wanted to head?
I believe we were heading to the bounties, unless I'm mistaken.
We were going to check out, we still have the Kraken's #1 firearms and Del Zeno's market for supplies.
Oh, yeah. Also, did we end up deciding if we were going to go run back to get some LMD materials, or were we just going to?
We were gonna look up, see if we can get additional transportation or something that's a little more spacious, or something that we could pull so we can carry more stuff.
I mean, the Mako does have cargo space. To be clear, like it does have the ability to hold cargo in addition to you as people.
Is there like a place that we could rent, like a trailer that we could attach to the Mako?
I mean, you could, but I don't think you would need it, because there's the Mako has a good amount of cargo space. If you look at the sheet for the Mako, it says you've got 1,000 pounds basically of cargo capacity.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you have a metric ton of cargo capacity.
Unless we're planning on bringing back Ymir, like that should be fine.
Yeah, it's all kind of underslung between the wheels and the top. It's kind of like, it's sort of like if it's a bit like storage on like a megabus, where it's kind of like on the underside of the vehicle, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, just to be safe, I suggest that we go to the firearm shop first. Just in case we get out there when you find out that somebody else is already out there.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Although, the longer we wait, the more likely it is someone's going to be out there.
I don't think anyone's going to show up that fast. Maybe some troops from the original base, but we didn't run into anyone on our way back, so it leads me to believe they know that they would lose the fight.
In my previous dealings with organizations of this type, would I kind of have an idea on response time?
It would depend on what's nearby. It depends on what kind of resources are nearby, and you guys did take a look at the base in the city.
Yeah.
It's not a massive like fortified complex, but it did seem pretty heavily guarded.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like Waylon said, if they have a base of that size that is kind of acting as a staging point for an operation, there's probably a frigate or two or like a cargo ship or two, like kind of within the kind of local area,
Yeah.
responsible for ferrying supplies like to and from like the closest mass relay or other outpost or something. So there's probably a few ships, if not in orbit over Omara at this exact moment. They come here somewhat frequently.
Yeah. But I guess what I was asking, and I can happily roll, is would I have a sense of whether or not they would be able to mobilize?
Again, it depends on what's nearby.
Where the
Yeah.
frigate
That's what I'm
is.
saying. Is like
Well,
it
I
depends.
mean,
Like
just based on what we know, like we've seen the base, would they be able to send something out, or would they?
they would
not
probably be
want
able to send out a couple of squads in pretty short order, but it wouldn't be like a full mobilization.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You know, and a couple of squads would probably be, about the same number, or a little less than the number you encountered. I would say it's about the same number that you encountered outside of the glacier.
Okay. Cool.
So another, like 15,
We can handle it then.
like 15 guys or so.
Is what I.
How are you guys doing on clips, grenades, things like that? Like, if you run into trouble, do you guys still have plenty, or do we need to go refill first?
I mean, I could use a thermal clip.
It'll take us an hour and a half tops if you're shopping around a weapons shop.
Yeah.
can do that.
And I don't think that matters as much.
Yeah, so I say we should go to weapons shop, get what we want, and then head out there and grab whatever we can to sell.
And Alpha, you were holding a few weapons as well that other people had swapped out, I think.
Correct.
I think you had like at least one weapon that you were holding.
Yes.
Like an extra.
Yeah, I didn't keep them on my sheet because I told them to put onto their sheet, saying that I held
It would
onto
have been at least a scimitar shotgun.
So I think
it would have been. Torque had one and McGowan had one. They both gave you. They both swapped out their default shotguns.
I didn't have a default shotgun.
Oh well, yeah, you picked one up and got a better one.
Torque swapped his out.
So the scimitar was the shotgun I picked up, and then Torque gave me the Raider for whatever.
Yep. Yeah, so Torque and McGowan both would have given you a scimitar. I just don't know if you have the room to carry both of those weapons. Because you can only typically carry two-handed weapons, and you already have an SMG, which is a one-handed weapon, but I think that means you could carry one two-handed weapon and two one-handed weapons.
Fair. So I was able to carry one of them back.
Yeah.
But I can give to whichever one of you guys originally had it to go sell at the shop.
Well, then it would be Torque probably.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've got a scimitar to sell at the shop. So let's go to the shop, restock and purchase anything new and shiny you guys want. And let's go head out to the base and collect what we can.
Yeah, let's see what they have.
Okay, it's easy enough. Again, Omara or Port Folstone is not a massive city, so it's only about half an hour walk to get to McCracken's #1 firearms. Let me pull up the sheet here. It's a long, so you're walking up, it's a long sort of half cylinder that measures probably 50 feet from front to back. And it is accessed by a single sliding door in the front beneath a kind of a single light that sort of swings in the wind, kind of attached to an overhang. The name of the shop, McCracken's #1 Firearms, is emblazoned on the side of the building in huge painted red letters.
McCracken's.
As you guys step inside, there's a Prothean guard that holds up a hand and one by one scans you with his Omni tool. Make sure you're not carrying anything that you're not openly showing. He permits you all to pass. Just taking a quick look around the room. The walls are lined with guns, most of which are fairly standard, kind of in the same caliber as the scimitar, kind of like a run-of-the-mill weapon. Nothing super special. But kind of the further you walk into the store, closer to the back counter, the more interesting stuff you find. There are also a lot of like taxidermied animals and animal hides and mounted heads and like antlers and things kind of all over the place in here.
Oh, what a lovely room of death.
You see the top carapace of a Clixin, which is like a really huge insectoid creature that lives on a lot of planets that have kind of noxious environments, toxic air for most sapients. You see, what else is there? There are some massive horns of a creature that you don't seem to recognize. There's all kinds of stuff in here. And kind of at the back counter, just kind of leaning against it as you've walked in, there's a human female with a shaved head and an eye patch. And one of her arms is exposed and it's covered in tattoos. And she kind of just watches you with her one eye as you're walking around looking at the shelves in the shop. Looking around. Well, what are you guys looking for? It's mostly weapons and it's all guns. It's guns and ammo, basically. As stated, firearms.
I am looking for one thermal clip because that's. Ooh, hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Sorry. If someone else has something they want to look at, yeah.
Does the shop have any Geth weaponry?
It does not have any Geth weaponry. No.
All right. Then I will purchase 2 more thermal clips.
Okay. It's 50 credits per clip, so 100 for you, Alpha. 50 for you, McGowan. I don't think Rhea needs any.
Is there a max on how many thermal clips you can carry?
Yes.
10.
10 normally. But the reason.
Yeah, you can get mods, and you guys found some.
Yeah, that's why I said hang on because
that will increase they can increase your capacity by 2, but you cannot buy those extra thermal clips until you have installed that mod.
Gotcha.
So. Which is something that Alpha can do if we go through and we find an armor bench, but it's something that won't be quick. So we would want to do it when we get back. But yeah, like there's like a chest holder. It's only like 2K, and you can carry 8 more thermal clips with it.
Nice.
And you guys found offhand ammo packs, which are like you basically like you attach them to like your left bicep, basically. So it's like a quick ammo grab from your shoulder, sort of a thing.
Cool. Right.
But yes, you'd have to find a place to install those, and those are pretty simple to install, so it wouldn't take you a ton of time.
Do they happen to have the cryo ammo weapon mod?
The weapon mod.
Hmm?
No, you actually don't find many weapon mods here. It seems like a lot of it is you do find actually like there is an area of the store, but it seems like it basically just directs you to speak to the shopkeeper, because weapon mods would be a little bit less. They're easier to swipe, and they're not. It's
Fair.
safer back behind the counter, basically.
Okay, so we're walking through the shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to walk back to is the shopkeeper standing there?
Yeah, she's leaning against the counter in the back. She's behind like a chain link fence, basically, with a kind of a window cut into it where she can exchange with customers and kind of speak to people without the fence in the way.
Yeah. I pull out my M23 katana and hold it out in front of me sideways in my palms and say, "What will you give me for this?"
Oh, I also give that scimitar shotgun to Torque, so we
Okay,
can
we need to figure this out
barter
because
with that
Torque, because one of
Okay.
those guns shouldn't exist because so one of those had to have been dropped because you can only carry two-handed weapons, Torque, and you have your
Right.
shotgun and your hammer.
Oh,
So you don't have any other room to carry other weapons. So Alpha, it's basically up to you to decide which shotgun you carried, the katana or the scimitar.
That'll be up to you, Torque, whichever one you wanted me to carry then.
I have the katana in my inventory, so I'm thinking that's the one that I must have given to you.
Yeah, I told you to mark it on yours. So yeah, so we'll go with katana then.
Okay. Yeah, so Alpha would have the katana.
Yep, so I'll give over to Torque to barter with.
Okay, so easy enough. So, sorry, I just wanted to figure out how that all made sense. So, anyways, Torque, resume your question.
How much will you give me for this?
She looks at it, kind of pulls it from you. Yeah, it's seen a fair bit of use. I give you 20K for it.
That's fair enough. I hand it over.
Okay. Hand it over. She transfers 20,000 credits to your Omni tool. Or not 20,000, sorry. I said 20,000, I meant 2,000.
Oh, you bastard!
I meant 2,000. I misspoke.
I'm like,
Oh
wow,
my
nice.
God.
I misspoke. No, the gun is the cost of the gun isn't even that high.
God, no.
The cost of the
I
gun
was,
isn't
I
even
was
that
like,
high.
good fucking deal, man. Yeah, I have it for 10K on my list. I was like,
Yeah, no, not 20. It's 2,000. My mistake.
I guess I won't barter. Fuck it.
Well, I mean, you're not going to use it anyway.
No. And then I take out my M300 Claymore and ask, what modifications do you have for this?
She looks at it, gives it a look once over. For that one? Nothing. That's LMD property, and nothing that I have would interface with that.
What do you have for shotguns?
She points over at a couple selections on the wall. You see she has 10 more of those katanas. These are all pretty brand new, though. Not quite as, don't have as much wear and tear as yours does. She also points out an M11 Wraith, which you can look up in the equipment. It's a...
Can you... Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Do you have
I need
any...
to pull it up too, actually.
Do you have any attachments for the M11 Wraith?
No, I'm actually out of mods right now. LMD came through and bought them all up off me. Should be getting a new stock in next week for weapon mods, though, if you want to come back then.
All the mods must be back at the cave. I say that to my...
I don't know about a cave,
not to her.
but the rep that spoke with me was from the office, just over in the city.
You don't say.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any grenades you need to pick up, now would be the time.
I like the way
I
you
don't
think.
carry explosives here. I'm a hunter, so I carry strictly firearms and firearm accessories.
You don't hunt with explosives? You should come to Chanka. Fuck.
I've been to Chichanka, but I have my own. I've been a while, I guess, but
You've
I
been
didn't need
to
any
Chanka?
I've hunted in many places.
How'd you like it? Where'd you hunt?
Well, I mean, anywhere on Tachanka, basically the same. It was fun though. You know, it was a good, challenging environment. Always adds extra thrill to the game.
Yeah.
Took down a thresher maw with a group of 6. It wasn't
You
easy.
took down a thresher maw.
Well, like I said, not by myself. I had 5 other people with us. It was a whole crew, part of the Augustan hunts, if you're familiar.
Yes, of course I am.
Final kill of the whole thing. Helped me earn my first championship.
I don't believe you. You don't have a plaque up or anything.
She points to the wall behind her, and you see there's 2 plaques actually, and they're not like plaques like we know them, but they're a little more simple. They're plaques, but what they are is they are it's like a crossed sword and a rifle on like a shield placard, and at the bottom it says, kind of in flickering holographic letters, winner of the Augustan hunts, on both of them.
Well, I'll be damned! And then I go to like give her a high five or whatever Krogan would do.
She kind of reciprocates with a high five, but it's a bit like, okay, sure. So are you gonna buy the Wraith or
No, I don't need anything. And then I walk away.
Well, we're always got something here if you need it. Thermal clips, rifles, shotguns, sniper rifles,
Grenades, weapon mods.
Are we able to put in special request for order?
possibly. I can't guarantee that I can find what you're looking for given the remoteness of Omara, but I could try.
I suggest we continue on with our previous mission. Once we complete, we can come back and put in requests for special orders.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Alpha and Omega, I'll just go wait outside. There's nothing that they can use at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll follow them out.
All right, yeah, Ray will go with, and so the four of you are all standing back outside. By this time, it's around 11:30. Still quite cold out. Still largely cloudless. Still a very nice day. What's the next move here, gentlemen?
Well, I think we head to the we head to the garage, pick up the Mako, and roll out.
Yeah, if we feel there's enough cargo space in that, let's just go ahead and do that now while we can.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Easy enough. Yeah, you go back, and the Mako is still in fairly rough shape. You know, it hasn't been seen to or anything. You know,
Ooh,
you
right.
didn't talk to Grom or pay him or anything, so the Mako is still in rough shape. But
It needs a makeover.
If we wait for repairs on that, it's going to be later today at best.
I just did that noise, and Zoom is asking me if I'm playing music. You play music? Nope. I don't know if that's why I'd call that.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that Bjork song before.
Oh boy. Anyways.
I'm pretty sure that's Primus.
Oh yeah, that could also be. Sometimes they're hard to tell apart.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a crossover. A super group. Primus and
Bjork.
Yeah, let's play a game. Primus or Bjork, bet you can't tell.
All right. So yeah, you go back to the Mako, and assuming you guys are saddling up or heading out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Driving out, back out to the camp, retracing your steps yet again. You're a little over an hour of the way into the journey. Driving through the wilderness at this point. You're off the main road. and you see overhead. Well, actually, let's see. This is going to be Alpha. We're going to use your sensors on the vehicle.
Sure.
So let me quick look up that, make sure I'm doing this right, because we haven't done this yet either. So this will be fun. So your systems, you have the SSC, the sensors, scanners, and communications. So I'm trying to find your functions that you have for the SSC. So the SSC have scan. And I say actually for this is not going to require any of these particular like combat actions. This would just be let me see what a good skill for this would be. This may just be a general intelligence check, but this will be electronics. This will be an electronics check, I think. Let me make sure I've got.
I am definitely proficient in that, so 17 plus 6, 23.
23 on the sensors as you're monitoring them as you're driving through here. You see, you're able to interpret this as something, a ship, high, not super duper high in orbit, but up there, so high that it would be difficult to see with the naked eye. Kind of streaks across your sensors momentarily. It is not heading in the direction of the camp. It is heading perpendicular. So it's kind of like passing over you guys, heading kind of at a 90-degree angle from you. We'll be heading out to, let me make sure I have the directions right. We'll be heading I think would be to the south. Whereas you guys are heading west.
I just picked up a ship traveling at a fast speed, heading due south from us.
How high up?
Very high up.
It wasn't not in orbit. Not in orbit. It was like the upper atmosphere. To clarify.
Very high up.
All right, keep
At
an
this
eye
point,
out.
at this point, it does not seem to be heading to the same location, but it was traveling at a fast enough speed that it would attract attention. However, it is traveling within the atmosphere. It is not traveling within space, so it is possible that there may be somebody looking around in the area.
Well, let's keep an eye out. Make sure we don't get surprised by anybody. If we get there and the place is crawling with baddies, we can always back out and come back another time.
What was your check on the real quick?
23.
What was 23? Okay, I think that's probably enough to where you'd be able to tell the class of the ship.
Sure.
This registered. Let me make sure I have this correct, too. Gotta check my notes.
Chickadee check on my notes.
Before you wreck
your notes.
Something. This would show up on your sensors as an older model Verican class frigate. It's a ship model of Turian design originally. They're fast. Well, that's more of a history check thing if you want to know information about the ship specifically. But it registers as a Vericon class. VERRIKAN.
Sure. I'll pass that on to everybody else and roll a history check to see if I know anything about them.
Okay.
that sound familiar? And if it does, can I offer advantage?
You can. I would say you can roll your own history check at this point. Would you get Alpha?
Yeah, I passed on to them first. It's only a 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nothing. Not much. It's it's a ship of Turian, originally of Turian design, but beyond that.
16.
16. Ship of Turian design. It's a ship design that has existed in the Turian, specifically in the fleet of the Turian hierarchy, which is far to the galactic southwest of here, for thousands of years, basically. Like it's a ship that has existed as long as the Turians have had an interstellar navy. They're very fast. They have very good shielding and armor, and they have very powerful weapons. Not as many as some ships, but they're one of the more well outfitted frigate ship types. At this point in time, the Vericon, the builders of the fleet of the ship, have taken contracts outside of the hierarchy, so other factions, other nations, other powers have access to them. They're not terribly uncommon in pirate fleets as well. They're quick. They're frigates. Frigates are a good ship for a pirate to have because they're not too big. They've got plenty, but they got a good amount of cargo space. There's enough room on them to have a decent sized crew. So I mean, they're common, but you don't see them everywhere. But like, a Vericon frigate is deployed typically like either as a lone scouting ship or in a small scouting flotilla, or as sort of flanking support craft for heavier warships.
Somebody's curious about what's going on here.
Yep. So that means there might already be people there, and that's part of the search, or it might be that that sensors picked up action in the area and they're trying to find it.
Yeah.
Or are completely unrelated.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. We know there are pirates running around here.
At this point, if we were they were heading due south while we were heading due west. They were not heading in the same direction, but if we saw them, it is quite possible that they saw us.
I mean, and that would have shuttle transportation capabilities too, right?
It'd be big enough for that. Yep.
Yeah. So just because the ship is heading one way doesn't mean everyone on it, every part of the crew is heading that way.
At this point, I suggest we could continue on with the same objective. I think when we get close, we investigate, and if we see others there, we take it a little slower.
Yeah. My cat's decided to go 10 miles an hour.
Fast as fuck,
Okay.
boy.
So you guys continue driving?
Yep. Boy. Yes.
So, all right. Yeah, so you continue driving. The rest of the drive takes, half an hour, 45 minutes to get back out to the camp. And as you kind of reach the edge of the forest, you stop. Or I guess it's up to you guys. As you're approaching it, you can see you're coming up to the edge of the forest. You can see where the tree line stops and the frozen lake begins. Now you're seeing it in daylight. So it's actually it's such a big open space of fresh fallen snow that it's like whitewashing your vision. It's kind of making it hard to see stuff beyond it, and it's kind of hurting your eyes a little as they adjust to the brightness of it. But you see the camp across the way. But from here, you're a few hundred feet out. It's hard to make out any activity or what might be going on.
McGowan will stop the Mako just inside of the tree line so that they're potentially slightly hidden.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think what we did last time, and I think we'll repeat again, is Ray will get out and look through her scope.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. She doesn't have a scope mod or anything, but
Oh, I thought maybe.
no, she doesn't have any mods or anything. But
Never
for
mind
flavor,
then.
it was a flavor. It was a flavor thing.
Oh, okay. So, but we did do that last time. I'm not making that up.
Nope. Yeah, you're right. We did.
Okay.
You're basically using it like a, telescope. But
It's
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
yeah, and it's daylight
Yeah.
too now, so there's no dark vision limitations.
God damn fucking spreadsheets. My
I mean,
apologies.
this will be the best point for us to go through and do this. So I suggest we just head on up there, and we see action. We deal with it then.
Was that perception or investigation?
Perception.
That is a 19.
Doesn't look like there's any activity. There's no smoke. You guys didn't like blow anything up crazy or anything, so it's not like there's any big columns of smoke rising into the sky. Spending a couple minutes watching, she doesn't see any guards patrolling.
Okay. Climb back inside, and we'll head on over.
All right. So you make your kind of drive back across the lake, parking the Mako at the camp perimeter, keeping an eye out, still with that perception check. This is actually inside the vehicle. This would be an alpha thing on the sensors. Or Torque, if you have the carriage, like the protective cage open, you could also make a perception check as well. But if you have the cage closed, you don't have enough of a field of view to do it. So it's up to you. So you either have the protection or the visual range.
No, I'm not scared, and Torque needs the extra room, so he's had that shit open.
Well, just keep that in mind in future situations too.
Yeah. Right, so do you need Alpha to roll an electronics or a perception?
This would be electronics check because again you're reading the physical sensors. Torque, you can make a perception check since you're looking with your eyes.
That would be at 23.
23. Torque.
My perception was a 14.
Neither of you pick up anything. On the sensors on the Mako, you would pick up the electrical signature, or the signature of the one vehicle that you weren't able to remove the tracking devices from.
And we're not seeing it?
Well, no, it's still there. It's still
Okay,
there.
so
It's where you left it. It's where you left it. And so as you come to a stop, Torque, you don't see any of the perimeter guards. Don't see any other signs of movement. It looks like the workers have all left by now. And as you stop kind of on the perimeter of the camp and step out of the Mako, what do you guys want to do?
At this point, the sensors are not detecting anything unusual. If we are together for sale, we should do that now.
Yeah, let's make it quick. Don't spend too much time.
Okay.
Let's get out and start gathering up.
So you guys head over to the site of the battle. It was pretty contained in one area, so it wouldn't require a ton of like walking around looking for stuff. You do see, as you step out of the Mako, 6 of the laborers have been killed, have been shot. You do see a couple new bodies that you guys didn't kill. There's a couple of Varen. It would be 2 Varen, 4 regular troopers, and an engineer, kind of scattered about the area immediately in front of the garage where the vehicles were parked. So it looks like there was a small skirmish at some point after you guys left.
No, we didn't clear the area.
With some of the remaining people who may have been inside buildings or something that you didn't clear when you were coming through the first time. The garage door actually is open too, and you see inside. First thing that stands out is another one of the Jeeps, but it has the hood up, and it looks like a bunch of the internal mechanics and electronic components have been pulled out, and it's undergoing some kind of maintenance process.
Mm.
So basically, it was in there being worked on.
Mm-hmm.
The bodies that the newer bodies, I want to take a look at them. Like, does the blood on the blood and shots of them look fresh? Does it look like they're several hours old? Does it look like they're 12 hours old?
This would be a medicine check. Go for it.
That's right. Let's have the Geth roll medicine. 11.
I mean, considering the amount of time that's passed since they showed up, it's pretty recent, but you don't really have an idea of exactly how long it's been. You know, it's been in the last 12 hours.
All right.
Well, this could have been done by units that were here that we missed when we left, or it could have been done by additional scavengers and our mercenaries. At this point, none of them look extremely fresh, so we should gather quickly, but we should be safe.
Yeah. We got
Okay.
to start picking up weapons, and if he can, he wants to strip off some intact pieces of armor.
Well, the way we're going to do this is everybody's going to pick one thing that they're investigating for, and we'll roll for that. Way to divvy up the work and make it so that it's not quite so like you automatically just get everything. You know?
Yeah.
So everybody decides. So McGowan, you're looking for what specifically?
Intact pieces of armor.
Okay, like modular armor pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alpha, what are you and Omega looking for?
Well, Torque, are you going to look for weapons? Or are you what are you going to look for?
I was going to look specifically for modded weapons.
Well, you can go through and you could focus on weapons. McGowan can go through and focus on armor, and I will go through and focus on tech.
Okay, and then even though Rhea is not here, if you guys want her to look for something else, she can absolutely do that too.
Metagel and armor? Or I mean ammo?
Metagel, Omnigel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy enough. Okay, so McGowan, why don't you go first?
This is that fell out of my hand. Investigation, you said?
Yes.
Ooh, that's decent. Somewhere in here. 15.
15. You have a pretty thorough search of things, and you don't find any special armor. It's all pretty standard LMD stuff. It's less modular armor and more full body armor.
Okay.
And none of it is as good as what you've got on.
Yeah. Is that like a helmet that I can detach?
Yeah. There's plenty of helmets lying around that they won't confer any additional armor class to you.
Yeah. That's
and you already have a helmet of your own.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right. Just making sure. All right. Yeah. So you're just it takes a couple before you find one that looks like it's mostly intact. A few of them have been like melted or irreparably damaged in the fight, or not irreparably damaged, but would require work to fix. There are a few that are damaged beyond repair as well, but you do find what you're looking for. Yeah.
Can I take a good one and one that would take a little bit of work to fix?
Sure.
Cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, Alpha. Why don't you go ahead and roll? And you were looking for again?
Tech. So it'd be like scanners and tools and things like that. That would be, something that'd be worth bringing back.
Okay.
You said investigation?
Mm-hmm.
Dirty 20.
Tools. You don't find anything that you don't already have. Again, these guys, going through them, each of you on your own, it becomes apparent through the course of the search that these guys have basically just like standard equipment. These are grunts. These are foot soldiers. These are not really anybody warranting, at least in the eyes of the LMD, special equipment.
I was thinking more like like in the garage. Going
Oh,
into the
sure,
tunnel.
sure. Okay, we'll
Yeah,
do. We can do.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
they'll cover the soldiers. I'll cover everything else.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do the building searches as separate things.
Sure.
Just because there's a couple of buildings that you could go through if you wanted to that you haven't been in yet.
Well, in that case, then, if we're gonna do those separate, instead of doing tech, I would go into the cave and get that one lone Ymir that's still working and bring that out.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and roll electronic check to do the hacking for that.
Okay, proficient in that one, and that is 15.
That is. Let me make sure. I don't think that's enough though, but let me double check.
I said, like, when we finished off with this was the one that was continuously walking on its own, and then I grabbed it and stopped it and backed it off that crate that it was just walking into.
Yeah. Well, you've already hacked it then. Okay, so we'll say at that point it's easy enough for you to just reconnect it. You've already created that connection. Yeah, and so as long as you stay within the 30 feet that we talked about last time and had a little bit of finagling with, easy enough to guide it out.
Yeah, I figure it'll take me long enough to walk that out.
It'll take a few minutes. It'll take a few minutes for sure because this thing, even when it's dashing, moves very slow.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Torque, you're up, sir. Go ahead and roll. So you have investigation, searching for weapons.
I rolled a 4.
A 4.
No bonus.
You find a lot of really. So with the 4, to me, it still means you're going to find obvious stuff. Because it's like you're not like blind, and it's not like a nat 1 and you got like super duper distracted. What I will say is a lot of the weapons you do find are damaged from the fight. They've been shot, melted, exploded, sliced. So you're not actually able to find a lot of weapons that would function without maintenance. I'd say you'd find. Let me take a look at the weapons that the enemies you guys were fighting had, and I'll let you know what you were able to find. I would say you find one. Now you find 2 functional M15 Vindicators, which are assault rifles. And those are on the bodies of the troopers. You took the weapon from the Centurion. He had the scimitar. And the only other weapons you find out here would be you find one M6 Carnifex on the body, which is a hand cannon. You find that on the body of the engineer that did not get squished by the mech. The engineer that did get squished, you find his gun as well, but it's just like circuits and bits because it was smushed when the mech stepped on his corpse. So all in all, you find 3 weapons that are functional or haven't been pillaged already by the workers who escaped.
I see the M6 Carnifex and just quietly take out my M3 Predator and compare the 2, and then put the Carnifex into my pistol holster. And toss the Predator into the pile of stuff that we're gonna sell. Like, as I'm finding these weapons, I just want to put them all on the Mako.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
Definitely be find an upgrade.
Okay, and McGowan, go ahead and roll for Rhea for her investigation check.
Ooh, that was
And she was looking for like ammo and metagel, right? Basically.
Omnigel, Metagel, ammo.
Okay.
That is a 11.
11. No Omnigel.
Okay.
These guys don't really need it. Ammo. Let's see. You find. I just rolled like 5 2s and a 6. So you would find, let's see, 16 spare thermal clips lying just scattered around on the bodies. Obviously not just like laying in the snow, but on the dudes.
Tight.
Take it.
No, Omnigel or Medigel? Just the
Metagel. Okay, sorry. Let me roll for the Metagel too, because you rolled very well. Metagel, you find on the officer, you find what is it? A superior. The next tier up. I have this in my bookmarks. One moment. On the officer, you would find where's the Metagel? There's Metagel. You would find a enhanced Metagel. And then on the other bodies, you would find a total of 4 more standard Metagels.
Tight.
And the enhanced Metagel is 4d4 plus 4 instead of 2d4 plus 2. So it's much better. Potentially much better. Could still be terrible. You can still roll 4 1s and get 8 hit points back. But at level 3, 8 hit points is pretty good.
That goes a long ways.
It's useful.
And for a wizard, 8 hit points, that's probably the majority of your hit points at level 3.
Or you've probably got like 12 hit points at level 3 as a wizard. You want to die in 1 hit? Play a wizard. No, there's tons of pros to playing a wizard, though. They've got some crazy spells. But that's a different game. So after searching around through the bodies and kind of cleaning up the rubble, the buildings that you haven't gone through, there's a small sort of outbuilding on the perimeter that you would have drove past in your Mako to get into the camp. You've been in the supply shed. That's where you found the raider. There is what, to your eye, Torque and McGowan, looks like a barracks, probably. It's one of the more sizable buildings, but it doesn't have like the garage doors and stuff. There's the vehicle garage, which has a big open door. You guys already went into the officers' quarters. So yeah, there's this little outbuilding, this barracks, and the vehicle garage are the 3 buildings that you have not explored so far.
Well, should we start with the barracks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Walk over to the barracks with the copy of the passkey that you found. The door opens easy enough. Just slides open. There are, this looks like basically like a lounge barracks type of place. There's kind of a station for cooking or heating up, I should say, like pre-cooked rations. There are a total of 8 bunked cots, so 16 beds in total in here. Each bed having its own footlocker. So there's 2 footlockers per bunk set. There's an extranet terminal, and that's kind of it, just looking around. And next to the building, too, just taking a quick peek inside, you would see is basically the outhouse. But it's, got a space toilet in it, so it's nicer looking.
Space toilet.
Space John.
So the barracks doesn't have any lockup for like weapons or armor or anything like that. They keep that somewhere else.
Yep, that what you guys found all of that in the supply shed.
Okay.
All
right, let's check the other buildings.
And there were some other weapons in the supply shed that you didn't take. There were 3 M15 Vindicators that you didn't take previously, because there were some Inferno grenades, there were offhand ammo packs, there was the shotgun, the AT-12 Raider, 6 Omnigel canisters, and 3 Vindicators, which none of you took because you didn't really need them because you had better weapons.
Yeah, well, let's grab those Vindicators because that's why we're here.
Yep. So now you've got a total of 4 Vindicators.
We'll take
five Vindicators total, actually. Sorry.
I will take those Omnigel canisters myself.
Well, the Omnigel canisters you guys already grabbed.
Okay, so we did get those.
Yeah, the Vindicators are the only things you didn't take. You took everything else that was in there.
Right. I've got 5 Vindicators in my notes.
Okay. So yeah, other than that, you can see there's like a hexagonal table, two hexagonal tables with chairs. It looks like some of the meals, there's like trays with meals on it. It look like they were unfinished, probably guys that joined later in the fight or something. Left when they heard or got word or whatever. But unless you guys want to like search the beds and the foot lockers or the food station, there's not much else in here. In the barracks, anyways.
No, I think we should keep going because cavalry could show up any minute.
Yeah, and then searching through personal effects like bunkers and lockers probably won't net nothing too valuable.
Yeah.
Okay, easy enough. On to the next building, which is you have the vehicle garage and the outbuilding, which is kind of opposite end of the camp from the barracks, which is close to the glacier wall.
Okay, well, so let's search the vehicle garage first.
Okay, vehicle garage. There's two doors. One of them is open, presumably opened in the little skirmish that you saw because it wasn't open when you left, or it was opened by the workers or something. So stepping inside, there's the Jeep that is undergoing maintenance. There's a little like kind of maintenance log terminal next to it, kind of tools and kind of spare parts and stuff laying on the ground around it. In here, you do see another dead engineer who's just like laying arms splayed out on the ground. Yeah, that's what you see kind of just looking around. Otherwise, you have to kind of investigate. I see there's like a couple of workbenches around the place. Just kind of looking. They've got kind of assortments of smaller things on them that would require closer inspection.
Yeah, I'll go through and I'll start searching through the tools to see if there's any tools that are, a little more than just casual, like more than just Menards grade.
Okay.
That'd be worth bringing back.
Another thing I forgot to mention that you found, Torque, in your weapons search.
Oh.
Unless somebody already found this, is a shock baton.
I found a shock baton.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah,
then it's already been found. Then never mind.
Damn.
Okay, so you're looking for tools. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
That is.
Is anybody else searching for anything in the garage here?
It's not bad. 18.
18. Looking around, most things that require small power tools could be done with an Omni tool.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot of like physical tools. It's mostly kind of like cuttings and trimmings and kind of replace spare parts more than it is like equipment. But you do find. Let me roll for this. I just rolled 3 1s in a row. If anybody wants to know.
I did. Yeah.
At least you're getting them out of your system.
Then I dropped my dice on the floor. 1 second.
This is where he goes to melt the dice because he just got his 4th one in a row.
All right. Well, I was kind of hoping you'd find some useful stuff here, but you find 5 loose canisters of Omni gel just scattered around the shop, kind of on shelves and stuff.
All right. Well, I will definitely take those.
And in your looking around, you do also find. You see, given that you're kind of mostly prioritizing tools, you don't really go actually look at them, but you do see kind of out of the corner of your eye 2 data pads. One kind of one on one workbench, another over by the Jeep.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna try to access them.
Okay.
Electronics.
Yep.
Can Rhea offer assistance at all?
Sure.
13. Well, 13 for the first one, and 19 for the second.
19 for 15 and a 19.
13 and 19.
13 and 19. Yeah, they're both unattended. They're open. There's no This looks like they were being used maybe before something happened. First one outlines the emergency shutdown protocols for the construction emirs that you've already sussed out yourself. The other is open to on an email thread, basically, between an engineer and what looks to have been the field officer that was commanding out here. Reading through the... Oh, that's not the right one. Here we go. Reading through the tablet. At the top it says, from Field Officer Vixtheriax, which you recognize as the name of the field officer from going into his office before, to Engineer Daniels. Daniels, I need you to come over to my office as soon as you get this message. I just got the latest security update from command, and there's something that I need your expert touch getting installed. You'll want a shield, just in case.
All right.
And I'd say for you, Alpha, that would call to mind the overload security measure that you encountered when trying to hack his terminal.
Yep, and it zapped me.
That's it.
Okay.
That's what you find on the data pads. There's most of it is just like junk mail and kind of personal correspondence. You spend a couple minutes flipping through it. There's nothing really useful there.
Okay. Well, data pads are pretty common, so those aren't worth taking.
Right. Yeah, but other than the Omni gel, you don't find much in here. And there is, of course, the dead body that's laying splayed out on the floor, pool of blood collecting beneath his head.
Okay.
If you want to search the last outbuilding, you can.
Yeah.
Okay, that's that basically takes you out by where you've parked your Mako, like not too far from that. And it is a very small building. It's probably no more than like 20 by 20, 20 by 25. And actually, the front door has been jammed open. It's like stuck. So, you guys standing outside of it, how do you guys just walk in? Yeah?
Yeah?
I think so. Done out, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, you go in, dead LMD trooper on the ground. He's just laying in a pool of his own blood. It looks like it's been there for a while. It's thick and viscous.
Gooey.
Go ahead and McGowan, who's the first one in?
I'll have been the first one in. That's fine with me.
Go ahead and make a perception check, looking around the room.
Neato. Not good. 10.
Okay.
It's definitely a room.
With a 10,
four walls and a ceiling.
With a 10, you spot a Metagel station on the wall and a public, an extranet terminal. And a crate that looks like an ammo crate, but just very obvious stuff.
Oh, go open the ammo crate.
It is locked. You go to flip the latches, and they do not budge.
Is it locked by a padlock or locked by an electronic lock?
Yeah, that was the question I was trying to formulate.
I mean, in the future, you can presume that it's probably an electronic lock rather than a padlock.
Okay,
Hey,
I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
It's the future.
Yeah, I'll see if I can just override it.
What were you saying there, McGowan?
Oh, I was going to invite Alpha to come do what he's doing.
Oh, okay, fair enough. What you got, Alpha?
So that's a nat 1. It's a 7, it's a 7 with bonus.
Yeah, no dice. You try and hack it. You are resoundingly rejected. You thought you were going the right way, but it tricked you. The security countermeasures kind of tricked you into taking a misstep, and the case is locked, and it totally locks down.
Password is never 1, 2, 3, 4, except for this time.
How heavy is this crate?
It's pretty heavy. I would say it's probably in the neighborhood of like 80 pounds. You know,
Okay.
it's a big heavy metal crate, probably filled with ammo,
Yeah,
thermal clips,
but Torque and I could load it into the Mako.
possibly. Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hey, big guy, you want to help me with this?
Yeah. I got you.
Okay. Both of you, go ahead and make athletics checks
Ooh.
to lift the crate. It's probably a pretty low DC, but we'll see what happens.
We'll DC what happens.
Natural 20, dude.
Nice.
Natural 20.
Let's see
It's
what
like,
happens with
Torque,
Torque.
take that side.
Please roll a
Why
natural
not?
1. Please roll a natural 1.
No, I got a 23 total.
Oh, yeah, easy peasy. You guys both get down, look each other in the eye, give each other a nod. You're in an excellent lifting form, lifting with your legs instead of your back, and you lift it up and you carry it to the Mako, easy peasy.
Oh, the meatheads are good at lifting shit?
Yeah, there's still the terminal in here and a metagel station that you saw that could be investigated if you guys would like to do that.
Say what?
Yes.
There's a
Yeah.
metagel station and a terminal in here that you guys have seen but have not done anything with.
You guys can deal with the station. I'll go take a look at the terminal.
Yeah, I'll go up to the metagel station.
All right, Torque, you go up and activate it with your Omni tool, and you have 2 metagel charges. Let me make sure there's not a cap on metagel, because there may be, but I don't think there would be. Rules, equipment.
It would put me
Tools
up
and
to
kits.
4 anyway.
Okay, yeah. I think if there is a limit, and I don't know what it is offhand, I will say it's 5, so 4 is good. But if there's not a limit, I'm not going to play that there is one. But I just don't know if there is, and it might take me a minute to find it, and it's not worth it right now.
I'm only up to 4.
You're good. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Regardless.
Can we go up and see if you can get me out of there?
There's none left. There's just the 2.
Okay.
I mean, Torque
I'm
can
gonna
give
check-
you one if he wants, but
Yeah, do you need one?
I only have 1 metagel right now.
Oh, take both of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any. I'm going to check out the terminal.
I don't see anything about a limit, so we're good on that front. Okay, go ahead and let's see for the terminal. This is a public extranet terminal. You don't actually have to even roll for this.
Okay. I'll just
you know,
check into it, see if there's anything of use or interest for us.
Yeah, it's mostly messages to family. It looks like, personal correspondence being used from the public terminal.
Downtime stuff.
And there's a search history containing 3 different profiles, like 3 different profile account names, all accessing a website called Fornax.
Do I want to know what Fornax is?
You can roll a history check if you want to know what Fornax is.
What the fuck?
I think Dan knows. Dan knows.
Is there a
games?
Fornax community? Is there a Fornax premium?
We'll find out.
History is intelligence, so that's 8.
8. With an 8, as a Geth, you've never heard of this. This doesn't really seem like a thing that appeals to you. But you do, like I will say,
Click it.
looking through it, it becomes very abundant what Fornax is. Fornax is pornography. And
yes.
It includes seemingly every sapient race in the galaxy. And that includes Elcor, Volus, Hanar, All of the above.
I'm
Matt-
just like walking around and I see what he's looking at, and I go, "Hey, what you looking at?"
I am not quite sure, but I am pretty sure I just saw your mother.
Oh,
I'm just gonna walk out of the building, leaving the Fornax sign up for him.
humor. Hey man, that's not funny. His mom had the genophage.
Yeah.
Well, apparently she got better. He wouldn't be here.
She got lucky.
I would be mad if that wasn't so damn clever.
Yeah, other than that, that's all you find in there. And having now cleared the camp, found a bunch of weapons.
Yep. I'll head back and just start working on getting that Ymir either in or attached to her vehicle somehow.
There's really no way for you to get to use the Mako to transport the Ymir. It's half the size for one, like a third the size. It's very heavy and very slow. And the cargo capacity of the Mako is a ton, but it's a ton spread out over a number of like modest compartments. So it's not like, the Mako it's a rover Jeep kind of thing. It's not designed for hauling like heavy loads, really. It's designed for exploration and rough terrain.
You are.
So using the Mako and the vehicles on hand, I will say what you did see before you left town the first time was a collapsed Ymir mech being loaded onto the big truck, but it was kind of collapsed and folded up into its idle position. So it's not like these things are impossible to transport. You just, at the moment, you don't have the equipment to do so.
Well, I mean, if we wanted to take the time, I'm pretty sure I could probably take the thing apart enough to transport it, but it's going to take time to do that. And do we want to take that kind of time?
I mean, taking apart a big ass mech would take quite a bit of time.
Could you give it coordinates to just walk there?
We can. However, if it runs into any issues between here and there, we will not know. Oh, wait, hold on. It should be this way.
Because you have a 30-foot command range for it, so once it's outside of 30 feet, there's nothing you can do.
Coordinates can be inputted into the unit. The unit will continue walking towards that particular direction. However, if that unit runs into any particular issues, aka falling into a hole, being attacked, and or falling into a canyon, we would not be there to go through and correct said mode, and they will stay there.
It's worth the risk, isn't it? Just tell him to go up the road. Where's he going to find a canyon?
So doing some quick math, theoretically, if I just told it to walk towards town, approximately how long would it take to get there?
Well, it only moves
At
15 feet a turn, basically. So it'd probably take...
150 feet a minute.
I mean, we're getting into actual math here, and I don't really care to do that for that. But it would take many hours. It'd probably take it took you guys an hour and a half to get out here. It'd probably take the mech 8+ hours to get. No, it would take the mech probably more than a day to make it back to Port Falstone, because you were traveling in a vehicle that can go pretty fast.
We're waiting more than a day on everything here, so...
Yeah, and the mech, to walk all the way back to Port Falstone would take more than a day for sure.
Whatever.
Just smash through all the trees on the way back.
Okay, I will go through and I will plug in the coordinates for the front door, or I'll plug in the coordinates for the gate of the town.
Just so you know, this thing is painted and covered in LMD colors and insignias. This is not like an anonymous white mech from the video
Fair.
games. This is like a very clearly labeled, this is LMD property.
Is there any spray paint anywhere?
No.
You haven't found any.
No, at this point in time, there really won't be much we can do about it. So I will just go through and just shut it down, and
Okay.
we can just leave it.
Okay.
Ah, damn it.
Good idea, though. Good idea. I just figured it'd probably be worth mentioning that it's very clear who this thing belongs to. So when it shows up at the front door, people are going to go, boy, that's interesting. And then the LMD will also say, boy, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, if we get back to town and there's some place where we can like rent a heavy loader, we could do that. But then we'd have to risk coming back here again. So at this point in time, we'll just leave it shut down.
And we also would have to get a mech covered in LMD insignias through the gate as non-LMD personnel.
Well, if we were coming back, like we would, we'd just grab some paint over there so we can paint it when we get back.
That's true.
But in any case, yeah.
We might not even have anything to do with it once we get it back into town.
Well, it's all depending on the heavy loader. Like if the heavy loader's closed, they wouldn't be able to see that it's LMD anyway. So we'd be able to get it in and take care of it. But in any case, we'd still have to get back. We'd still have to get a heavy loader, and then we have to hope we come back before somebody else does.
Fuck it.
So we can go through and we could talk to our contact and let them know that on site there is an LMD loader mech that is currently in good condition. If it's something that he would wish to collect.
Yeah.
And we just ask for a 20% cut or something.
Should hide it in the woods.
I'll go park it into the garage. So that way it's just not out in the open.
Good.
And just leave it there. Shut it down.
Good. Easy enough. Anything else you guys want to do before you take your leave?
We want to double check the Prothean artifact just to make sure it's still in the same condition.
Well, you would have been back in there when you went to got the mech alpha. And
Oh, correct. Yeah.
yeah,
So then
nothing
changed.
had changed about it at all.
Okay. Yeah. At this point in time, I think we should go.
Okay, if you all agree,
Yes.
then easy enough. You load up what you found into either your personal stores, be it with the Omnigel and the Metagel and things, or with the weapons. You stow them in one of the side compartments, and you make the drive back to Port Fullstone. By this time, it's getting close to. You left town at 11:30. So it'd be about 1 o'clock when you got out there. We'll say it was probably an hour to search the whole camp for all this stuff. So it's getting close to 4 o'clock by the time you guys pull back into town. The sun is starting to go down behind the mountains.
Behind them.
Kind of creates this very picturesque view as you drive up to the front gates of Port Fullstone. And you drive the Mako back to, because you're driving the Mako through the streets. The day not quite coming to an end, but it's been a busy day for you. You found some leads. And you have at least one more day to continue looking into the different goings-ons around town. That is where we will end our episode tonight. With you guys, having regrouped, made your way back to Port Fullstone with some items in hand, and another day to potentially pursue some other leads or interesting options, should you choose.
Another day.
Yeah, we got those
We
bounties
will-
in the
we'll-
county office.
Yeah, we'll get to that in 2 weeks, and by that time, my understanding is that Rhea should be back with us.
Woo!
Huzzah!
We'll have a full complement once again.
Mhm.
The other thing too is, guys,
Oh.
you get to level up.
Yes!
Yippee!
My main monitor stopped working. That's fun.
Because you slammed your hands down on the table.
Yeah, now my main screen isn't working. That's all right.
Nice.
I'll just oh, you know what it probably was? It was probably the power cable from my keyboard.
Wait, we're still seeing you scramble, so this is still just funny to us.
Nope,
Yeah.
it is not working. I'll have to look at that in a minute. I don't really need it right now, anyways. That's okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's weird. I think a cable probably just came loose or something. But yeah, everybody
Cool.
levels up to level 4.
Huzzah.
Sick.
Excellent.
So we should maybe get together either as individuals or as a group and do that leveling before the next session.
Yeah, that would be good.
Sounds good.
So yeah, level 4 on the horizon. Congratulations.
666.
Well earned. Well earned. I actually meant to give it to you guys last time, but it just didn't work out.
That's fair.
Oh, good.
Yes, I get more cantrips.
I
Yes.
get more points.
And another spell slot. Or a power slot.
More and more hit points.
Yeah,
Huzzah.
If you guys want, we can actually roll for hit points right now.
Sure.
Just get that out of the way. It can be fun. I think it'd be
all
fun for people to see what we've got, what you guys should hit.
Let's see here. Ooh, ability score increase. Awesome.
Yeah, so your hit points will be just 1 hit dice, plus
88.
your Constitution modifier added on to your total.
And I have a +3. And it's a 7, 3. I get 10 more hit points with my con bonus.
Nice.
I will take that because I need it.
Ray, we won't roll for Rhea. We'll have her roll her own.
What do I roll for it? A D? What kind of D?
Probably a D8, I think, for a... I actually can't see my Mass
Yeah,
Effect thing because my screen stopped working for some reason.
If you're in the best, actually, here, I'll just look it up for you. Which class are you again?
He's a Vanguard.
Vanguard.
All right. Vanguard hit dice is 1d12.
Yep, so it's 1d12. 1d12 plus your con modifier. Yeah, the Vanguard is sort of the barbarian, so you get a lot of hit points.
I get
Fucking
14.
Nice.
I
I think a D10.
Yeah, I get
For-
5 hit points.
Oof, that's not a good roll.
No,
Guess-
I've rolled shit hit points for McGowan.
Guess
That's
what my max
unfortunate.
health
Wait.
is?
I have one of those roll thingies from a d20. Can I have him use it?
No,
hit points?
not for hit dice rolls. No, I will. If you roll the 1, McGowan, you can re-roll.
No, I rolled a
Okay.
3 and I have a con modifier of 2.
Oh,
Boo.
well, there you go. Yeah, if you roll 1s on hit dice, I let people re-roll because getting 1 hit point sucks. Or like 2 hit points or 3 hit points or whatever sucks.
Dude, I was looking at El Rey's character sheet. She has more fucking hit points than McGowan.
I don't know if I have to. I have to see what her hit points are. I don't know if she's got her sheet organized the right way, but I don't really blame her with those confusing ass spreadsheets.
Yeah, no, they're goofy.
At
Look
4th
the
level,
stream for my max health.
see.
What'd you get, Free? What'd you get, Torque? You got 14. What's your total now?
69.
Hey-oh.
Hey!
So we get
That's fucking wild.
we get ability score increase
Yeah.
at level 4. Does it apply before hit points or after hit points?
The ability score increase. I'd say it's
Yep.
after hit points.
Ah, boo. So let's say that
Well-
could, depending on where McGowan wants to spend his ability points. that
Yeah,
might be an
I would
extra
say
hit point.
McGowan. Yeah, if you do
Wait,
abilities,
is that retroactive?
because you're level 4, so now you guys can either pick
Okay.
to increase ability. So at level 4, you can either increase your ability scores or you can increase 1 ability score by 2 points, 2 ability scores by 1 point, or take a feat. So that's up to you guys.
Ooh, feet.
Feats are good, but the other thing too about adding attribute points is that you could add 1 or 2 to, like, for you, Torque, you could add like 1 to your strength or like 1 to your wisdom or 2 to either of those, and it would make your spell casting and your melee combat better. So it's, you know, it's pretty balanced, I think, because you can get some really cool stuff for the feat, or you can get some pretty game-changing stat boosts. But one of the reasons I like feats is because a lot of feats let you take a +1 to an attribute anyways. So
Okay, I have
Yeah,
to go.
that's true.
yes. Yeah, it's stuff we'll talk about between now and next week and whatever. Or next
Sounds
show.
good.
Oh, yeah, look at him.
All right, everybody. Good night. I want to see if I can figure out why
Bye.
my computer monitor stopped working.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Goodbye.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.